Mm-hmm. Boom. Greetings, everyone. If you were able to hear the sound of my voice, take a really deep breath in. Here we go. Let all your air out. Breathe in. Really big one. Hold it at the top. Big breath. Fill your chest and release it. Boom. How's it going, everybody? We are back. What is the date today? It is October, or rather, star date, October 9th, 2024. And here we are, live in what I guess is the highlight or our October surprise of 2024. Out here on the semi-west coast of Florida, we are live from Hurricane Milton. We never thought it was going to happen. We didn't think it was, we didn't think it was going to make it out here. Actually, I was kind of hoping it would. I know it's a horrible thing, but it's been pretty chill. We haven't seen too much destruction yet, but yeah, it's been an interesting ride so far. And my prayer is it doesn't get a lot crazier, it won't get wilder, but our mission is different. Our mission today is to just kind of open things up, see how everybody's been doing. I think it's been a little bit over a month since we did a live stream, although if you're paying attention, you can find me in a number of places online. But here we are, the ride continues. And so our mission today is we're going to be kind of stabilizing our energy field a little bit. We're going to be answering some questions for those of you that have questions. We have no real agenda other than just doing readings and hanging out. And I don't know, I feel like there was a few of you guys, maybe were here. Was it 1 or 2 years ago? Somebody out there knows. Somebody's mad at me for saying I wanted the hurricane to come here. I wanted it to come here like a nice, warm, semi-manic Florida storm. You know those ones for those of us in Florida where it's like Friday afternoon at 3 o'clock and there's this really beautiful warm rain and this odd breeze that's blowing through. That's the thing I'm trying to turn it into, you know what I mean? Because that could be, every now and then it just really hits. And so, you know what I mean? We're going to kind of dissipate the charge around it. I would also like to just reduce the amount of fear energy that I'm seeing across the media, across people, you know what I mean? Just across social media, it's everywhere. And I'm not one of those people. Well, let's be real. For those that know me, yes, I do take a lackadaisical outlook toward destruction and, great changes on the earth plane. And whether that's a good thing or a bad thing remains to be seen. But I am at the stage of the human journey where I believe that everything that occurs, everything that we endure, every single moment, every decision that we make, is our responsibility. It's our responsibility for what we're creating. It's our responsibility for how we react to such things. And if there's one thing I've noticed in this world at this point, nothing happens by mistake. Whether it be for us to demonstrate our power to create correction in human timelines or to heal the human collective, or at times it is, every now and then about, much bigger things. And let's be real, every now and then it's also about just shit happens. And so wherever you fit into that, it's been a really interesting mix of like kind of odd disclosure stuff and people picking up little fragments of conspiratorial things over the past few weeks. But I did want to share with you guys something. Some of you guys who know me on Facebook have seen this, but and some of you guys already know about it. I don't know from where this originally came. I don't know who the original poster was, so I'm not actually, I mean, it did not come from me. But I just kind of want to open today's stream with something very interesting. Like I said, I think for those of you guys that know me on Facebook, you might have already seen this, but I'm just going to pull up a quick article and we're going to read it together. We might not read the whole thing, but we're going to check out a little bit of it right now. Ready, guys? Here we go. Boom. And here it is. So if you haven't already heard, the process of hurricane seeding is a 100% literal reality. It is not a conspiracy. It is not, it's not a space war. You know what I mean? It's not a timeline war. It's, you know what I mean? This is the reality for us. And This is an article that I think I don't know exactly when it came out, but this is from the National Oceanic and Meteorological Laboratory, NOAA, as we heard. It says 70th anniversary of the first hurricane seeding experiment. So we're not going to read through this whole thing, everybody, because let me tell you, it's quite a stretch. But we are going to go through just a few points in it, because this was something that was shown to me earlier, and I just think it's important. If you do not already know about this, on the afternoon of October 13th, 1947, an Air Force B-17 aircraft penetrated a hurricane 415 miles east of Jacksonville and dumped several pounds of crushed dry ice into the storm just to see what would happen. This was the first attempt to modify a tropical cyclone by seeding it, with a freezing nuclei. It was almost the last. The previous year, Vincent Schaefer, working at General Electric GE Laboratories, discovered that by introducing dry ice, solid carbon dioxide, into an environment with supercooled water that was colder than 32 degrees Fahrenheit but had not yet frozen, he could induce the water to freeze into ice. He realized that this could be done in the free atmosphere and could spur microphysical reactions that would alter clouds and precipitation. At his urging, GE Labs reached an agreement with the Naval Research Laboratory and the Army Signal Corps, to carry out experiments where Air Force aircraft would seed clouds and fog with dry ice to see what changes occurred. It wasn't long before plans were made to try a seeding experiment into a hurricane. However, it wasn't late until the following hurricane season that Air Force planes and Navy personnel became available to carry out the mission. On October 12th, a hurricane designated King by the Air Force Hurricane Office moved northeastward over Florida, dumping tropical downpours on the southern end, which caused damaging flooding that persisted for days. The next day, the storm moved off the coast and continued out to sea. This seemed like an ideal case for Project Cirrus, as the hurricane was no longer interacting with land and could not affect anyone after the experiment. That afternoon, this is it, here we go. 2 B-17s and a B-29 left Mobile, Alabama, and flew eastward to intercept the hurricane. The first bomber flew up at cloud top level and did the seeding. Large chunks of dry ice were fed into a crusher on the plane and dumped from the belly into the clouds below. The second B-17 followed a half-mile behind and 3,000 feet above to document the cloud changes. The trailing B-26 was the control aircraft and carried Schaefer to monitor the changes and direct the other two planes. Aircraft lack sophisticated homing gear, etc., etc. We don't need to go into all the details. What's important to know is that they made a half-hour run over 100 miles, dumping 80 pounds of ice along the way, and then backtracked to see what the clouds have done. And so, like I said, I'm not going to read through this entire thing here, but one thing that we do know is that this is a documented example of the process of manufacturing, or rather, I shouldn't even say manufacturing, altering, steering, and in this case causing a lot of damage through our ability to affect weather. And so whether or not you want to buy into it, whether or not you want to believe it, I am not one of those people. I do not get off on the bizarrification of making every single event that occurs in our human collective part of a space war. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that everything isn't. But I mean, sometimes you have to take out the trash and sometimes crazy things happen. And I think this is a very, very clear example of just what we are seeing with the level to which mankind has learned to alter and just change the course of what takes place on our planet. And I think at this stage, it's, as we all know, it's running rampant, completely out of control. And my hope is that by sharing this, a few of you guys will share it as well. And it just kind of helps. I think it helps kind of explain things and put a few pieces of, quote unquote, official, quote unquote, verified, if those words mean anything through agencies anymore, pieces of info that give people a leg to stand on when some douchebag out there tells you, oh, these storms are real. It's just an act of God. It's so far beyond that now that I think anyone that willingly holds on to that kind of cognitive dissonance and chooses to present themselves as, let's say, a professional psychic or a mystic, or one that chooses to work with non-physical energy, Honestly, if your favorite starseed influencer is just telling you this is an act of God, that's a really, really good example of a person who is either choosing to not look at the nature of what energy is, or really just doesn't have an ability to do so. And I'm not saying that from some hard and fast superior kind of point of view, because I make errors constantly in the work that I do. It's kind of a thing that you'll do when you do this work on a professional level. You will learn to roll with it. You'll learn to pick things up. You must learn what a negative is before you learn what a false positive is. You know what I mean? You have to learn to compare and contrast the wavelengths of information that we get from the environment and from people, from what some people call truth, what others call false. And, with at times with a little bit of research, you'll find out very substantial things that have been placed out there publicly for people to put the pieces together. And I think this is a really, really good example. And so, um, the other part about it is, some people out there have also seen, I'm not going to pull up the article or anything, but some people out there have also seen that I guess Tampa was chosen to become something like the 15-minute smart city, and they, partnered with the Gates Foundation and whatnot. And I'm not here to, do the Bill Gates's evil dance. It's so tried and just burnt out now that it's like we all know the man's not working for, the good of our planet. And I just think it's an interesting coincidence to see that, that is actually part of a plan for that city, and that there will be, some form of a restructuring, or at least that's the intention. And so I just think it's a really interesting time for maybe those of us who have, come to accept themselves as part of this, bizarrest conspiracy, which is really just multidimensional awareness being ridiculed by people who have no ability to read energy. For those of us that have gone through that, these are little pieces of evidence that I think you can use and look at and kind of take it in your own way to tell yourself, to show yourself, to confirm that, a lot of us have literally had the right idea all the time. And it's not that we know the whole story. It's not that we know everything. And no, I am not saying every single storm is, they're all man-made now. Oh God, it's the, what's the word? I don't know what word I'm looking for, but you know what I mean? It's like, because you will see that with people oftentimes when we get, just a little bit of evidence or a little bit of a confirmation. Those with lower discernment will just jump, over 25 red flags and, land on the one that looks like the thing someone else told them was real, and completely ignore everything else, despite all the signs and the warnings and the pieces of info and the synchronistic encounters. And so this is just one of those times where you guys can sit there and go, okay, so this is actually real. And so, now that we know that it's real, so what is it that we can do about it? And this is where some people are going to get mad at me, but I have to be authentic. And if there's one thing you guys know about me, for those of you guys that have watched this channel for a while, and for those of you that are new, we're going to be doing free readings in a little bit. I'm just going through a little bit of a rant here, getting a little bit of info out of the way, so hang out. We're going to be doing some readings. The storm's definitely kicking up. Anyway, I've kind of forgot where I was going with that, but you will notice my train of thought changes quickly. But anyway, this is one of the greatest times to be alive. And let's check your comments. How's everybody doing out there? I want to say thank you for being here. I think it's been about 6 weeks since we did a live, right? I think it's been about 6 weeks, and some interesting interesting things are happening. Oh, there we go. I just saw Unveiling Addiction in the chat. How's it going? It's really, really good to see you. I actually remembered the thing I was going to say there, but it's probably good that I self-edited myself, because I just would I would have pissed off a bunch of you guys. But well, I will say this, the soft version of it. I think that there is a certain change that is slated to occur, due to kind of the patterns of weather and chaos that are being thrust upon us. I think there is somewhat of a restructuring. A lot of people don't like to hear that, but it is I do believe that things are gonna get a lot more stickier, a lot more intense, and I'll just say the word, a little bit worse before they get better when it comes to what we might call, like liberation or disclosure or the mass understanding, exposure of all this stuff. I do think we have a little bit of a ways to go, and I know that's the thing for some people that I think pisses them off, and I've encountered this with, like, the rose wearing rose glasses, wearing starseed crew, where they're, everything is about we must destroy all darkness, we must completely annihilate it. Honestly, I don't think that's not a thing that will ever happen on the earth plane. And I think for those that seek to be balanced and understanding who and what they are and to fulfill their missions, I think that it's much more relevant and appropriate for us to focus upon ourselves and the choices that we can make about our personal darkness, about the healing of such things, and about, the correction of that within the self before we even dive into changing the world. Because I think, number one, part of that is a thing that will occur as we go through that process of self growth. But also, I think we just see so much chaos that is slated and destined to occur specifically so we can go through cycles of growth. And, like I said, once again, a lot of people don't like to hear that, but I say this with love and respect. If you're one of the people that's been through it this year, that has been through the cycles of change, if you're one of the people that's been attacked, if you're one of the people that has had to endure great destruction at the hand of certain, man-made or even, naturally occurring weather phenomenon, wherever you fit into that, wherever you are in the spectrum of, I had to deal with this or that, or, maybe you got sober, or maybe you fixed this thing, or you ended a relationship, or, you quit your job, whatever it is that you've been going through. I think that 2024 will show on record as one of the most internally transformational stages that each of us has had, despite whatever's going on in the outer world. Because I'm kind of one of those people that's like, whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And granted, that's a foolhardy statement for some, because you never know, in the next 12 hours, we might get a tree branch coming right through here. But anyway, that's enough philosophizing for now. Anyway, let us know how you're doing. What part of the world are you in? If you are in Florida, let me know, please, where you are in Florida. I know Piper Paprika's in Florida. What's going on? Hopefully you're not underwater yet. Although I wonder if maybe you're a little bit surprised by how is it over there? Let us know in the chat. Is it crazy? Is it easy? Is it calmer? We are currently located, I guess, in the I'll I think it's called Riverview, Florida. And I gotta be real, you guys, it's pretty chill. We are getting a fair amount of wind, semi-intense rain, but it's honestly nothing that we haven't seen before. And so, anyway, thanks, you guys. What's up, Holland Sass? Balcony of Los Angeles. Whoa, all right, nice. I do miss LA a bit every now and then. I hear it's been pretty hot out there recently. Yeah, okay. So let me know, where are you in Florida? Who's in Clearwater? Somebody's in Clearwater. Let me know if you guys have any questions before we get started. We are going to be doing a number of readings, and it's who knows how many, who knows what'll come up. I have literally no announcements. Oh no, I do have one announcement. Sorry. Tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern. For those of you that want to head over to Rumble, I will be appearing on the Riding Through the Unknown show with Mr. Michael Kopp. I believe right around 9 p.m. Eastern. I think that's 8 Central, right? I'm on East Coast, so I don't understand time zones. So, so check us out over on Rumble if you're into it. If you're looking for a place to hang out, who knows? But yeah. Thank you. Oh, Piper's in Clearwater. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you are. Well, good luck out there. I hope you have a blow up raft. I hope you have a blow up raft. I thought we did, but we don't. We have no flotation device. But I think we're gonna be just fine. Anyway, what's up, Cosmic Mama? How's it going? I'm trying to get Flute out of here. She knows exactly what I mean. Yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions. I'm gonna scroll through the chat. We're gonna see who's here. What's up, Leyland? How's it going? Thank you to everyone that checked on us over the past couple days. You guys can probably feel, as I'm drooling already here. You guys will probably notice in your own way that you can probably even feel like the energy within myself as well. One of the things that we've been doing over the past, couple days, as we've been kind of watching the preparation cycle here in Riverview, is just kind of watching the sort of franticness that you will see wash over certain people in the general public. And I want to be very careful to say I'm not saying this from a place of ridicule. I think that everyone has seen it within themselves, myself included. It does, on any given day, any one of us can lose our shit in a particular way, but it has been a very, very interesting thing to watch how you will see how some people will react very, very differently to what's going on, and other people become frantic. Some people go into this ultra zen mode and become this super kind version of themselves, and then there's always somebody that's like driving down the road at 90, like honking at everyone, weaving in between the cars, going crazy. And we have seen a little bit of all of those things. I mean, every single bit of it. And um, actually, this is a question I have for those of you that are here. How are you when shit gets weird? Let's say, when things are going wrong, when the world is losing its shit. Are you one of those people that kind of goes along with it? Are you one of those people whose natural makeup is to, because how some people, and this is not always a good thing. Some of us rise into hero mode, you know what I mean? And we're like, I'm going to go out there and help people. Other people go into hermit mode, and you'll like lock yourself inside. Some people, will go into frantic mode. I know we've all seen the guy that ends up fighting everyone somewhere. Like they think they have to battle everyone. And um, I'm like a weird mix of a lot of those things. Although this time around, because, somehow it's been more calm here, I've been trying to do a little bit more like the Zen thing, which I'll be real, it's a lot healthier for my spirit. I got a lot of fire, a lot of liver energy, so things will get weird. But yeah, how are you guys when things get weird? I'm curious about your reaction style, because the reaction style that a person has to great intensity will tell you a lot about where you're holding energy within the body. And so let me know. How do you react when things get weird, life gets hard, things go crazy? What is it that you do? Here we go. What's up, Erica? She says, I had to leave the store. It was overwhelming. Well, I'm drooling like crazy. This will be fun for the first timers. They'll be like, I just stopped by this guy's psychic live stream and all he did was rant at people and he started drooling. Which does happen. Let's be real. Anyway, I had to leave the store. It was overwhelming. I sat in the car for 30 minutes because it's too much. No, it is, right? For real. I feel you. Then talked to some clerks and hugged my friend at CVS. I've been heading and watching cartoons. I feel you. I've just been chilling. We've been hanging out here. You know what I mean? It is very overwhelming. I would say one of the things that I have observed, and I'm being totally real and vulnerable, is that when it gets weird, because we live in one of those really, really big, like mega apartment complexes, and for those of you guys with a good third eye, you can imagine it kind of, off in the distance outside of Tampa, in that weird area kind of east of Tampa, where it's like there wasn't really any houses and it was just like kind of a little bit of scrubby wildland and Florida jungle stuff. And then they came in and like hacked down a bunch of it and just put a bunch of new communities. We're in like one of those. It's like weird and clean yet oddly displaced, and it's just really, really, it's like a bizarre man-made structured place where you're like, whoa, what happened here? But the thing that I've noticed is that you will feel for, and I think this will happen to any one of us who's empathically activated or kind of aware of the level to which you'll absorb energy from people. It's like when you're in a building like that or you're within a community like that, you will feel everything, like everything from everyone, all the anxiety, all of the anger, all of the fear. It's like it's a very, very remarkable thing to behold. And I don't say that necessarily from the perspective of doing what I do on a professional level, but the reality is doing professional psychic work, it kind of opens you up to a level that at times can be problematic. It's not always like some like, oh, I know what everyone's feeling. Trust me, it is not like that. And if anybody out there, a professional, says yes I do, and I know, you know what I mean, they are lying to you. I mean this sincerely, because every single one of us who's empathically activated is going to have to come to terms with the level to which they're absorbing people's emotions. Otherwise, we inevitably begin to lose track of what is ours and what is theirs. And we've seen a whole worldwide phenomenon of people lashing out at each other because of the amounts of energy they've absorbed. And, it's like we can literally lose our own sense of self within that. And one of the things I don't see talked about too much through people within our community that do the same work that I do is, what do you do when that happens? You know what I mean? How do you navigate those things when the world becomes too much? As maybe you're just an empathic person, like Cosmic Mom is saying, and you find yourself going into a store in a time of great intensity, and it's so overwhelming. And I'm being real here. Your body will shake, and you're like, "Ugh," you just get this horrid feeling, and oftentimes it's like your body's responding to the collective thought form temperature of what's going on. And let me tell you, it can be an absolutely overwhelming thing. But anyway, thanks for hanging out, Cosmic Mama. Let's get a couple more reactions. What happens when shit gets intense? What do you do? Do you just leave town? Which is a rightful thing. Let me tell you what, if we were actually in an evacuation zone, because a lot of people that knew me on Facebook were like, oh my God, you're so jaded about this. But the reality is I have nowhere to go. So we're like, even if it was the end of a world thing, we're like, we're going to ride it out. And so how do you react when things get weird? Unveiling Addiction says, interesting question. I'm figuring that out as we speak. I feel you, man. I feel you. Piper says, I go into get shit done mode. Hell yeah. You know what? The more I learn about you, the more that it's like that's such an authentic response from you. Thank you. I like that. Girl and her gong. What's up, Maureen? I stay calm because I gotta rescue people. You know what? When I'm in my highly this is such a dumb phrase. Go ahead, and somebody out there that's never watched this live stream is gonna start cringing. If you are the one that cringes, put a bunch of emojis in the chat. But I'll be real, I have been trying to hold on to that. And for those that know me, like those that really know me will know that I am the type of person that will jump in to help save anyone's life, but I'm also the type of person that will at the same time be like, what the fuck is this? Oh my God. And then it's just, I reserve the right to be weird and lame about it at the same time, but not on a professional level, of course. I'm talking out in public because it's wild. You'll see people doing truly ridiculous things in times of crisis. And once again, I don't say that from a ridicule perspective. I say that from an observational perspective as a person that got to live 40 years of my life completely blind to the sensation of non-physical energy, to psychic energy, to the realm of spirit, yet interacting with it and being completely victimized by it at the exact same time. I had to come to tremendous like crossroads and like self-realization, and those moments where you look in the mirror and go, wow, this is literally all my fault. You know what I mean? It's like you have to come to terms with those things. And as we do, I think not only do we kind of change the manner in which we learn to react to things, like Unveiling Addiction was saying, it's like you figure it out later on, and like this new version of you kind of shows up. And sometimes that version is empowered. You know what I mean? Sometimes that version is fiery. Every now and then, you know what I mean? That version is going to be very, very cowardly. And that's actually the exact way in which it's supposed to go. But anyway, we're nearly half an hour in, and we're going to start some readings here. I'm going to grab a couple other little reactions. Jason H says, I thought he said he was scared to ask others. Yeah, we are going to do your reading. I know I grabbed your comment in a random context. What's up, Shanjack? Hermit mode, right? I feel like that's kind of where I am this time, because most everyone around here is evacuated. It's literally a ghost town, you guys. I could go running wild through the streets of Riverview right now. There ain't nobody out there. But yeah, hermit mode is wise one. Hopefully I'm not that guy, the guy fighting everyone. Actually, I'm usually not. What's up, Lisa? How's it going? I usually feel more calm, almost thriving in chaos. Whoa, that's a pretty good sign. That's a pretty good sign. Cosmic Mama's finding the perfect place of peace. Thank you. What's up, Emma the Cat? I love it when things get weird. Bring on the weird. Who was it that said, oh no, it was Hunter S. Thompson. When the going gets weird, the weird go professional. Which, let's be real, love it or hate it, I'm a good example of that. Hello, Joanna LeBlanc. We haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're doing good with your new life that you brought into the world. A little panicky, I'm not gonna lie. I feel you. Rightfully so. Rightfully so. Especially when great uncertainty is being thrust upon us. Jason H says unhealthy coping mechanisms, right? Totally. I feel you. What's up, Goddess Essence Energy? The energy is very dense. It is, right? It's raw and heavy. Everyone's getting a little bit triggered at something. Not saying everyone is. Most of us will in some way over the next 24 hours as we absorb all of the collective energy from everyone dealing with this. Yep. She knows it. Little bit. It's only kind of minor. It's a minor thing, but thank you. Thank you. Miranda Anderson says, I thrive in chaos. If you're currently thriving in chaos, ladies and gentlemen, you could do us a great service by hitting the like button. We're almost at 7,000 subscribers. I don't even know what that means anymore because YouTube has had us stalled at like whatever number we're at for literally like 2 years almost. And so if you're hanging out here, whether you love it or you hate it, hit that subscribe button and help us get to 7K. It'll help me with the illusionary idea that numbers like that matter, because I guess they don't really. But you know how it is. You know, humans, the human mind and the human ego desires some form of quantity, or you know what I mean, representation. And I'll be real, I'm human, well, mostly just like everyone else. And so subscribe if you can. Crystal says, I wish I were Joel. Oh shit. Okay, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Here we go. What's up, Liz Krenzlock? She says, I've been feeling almost like I'm tripping or drunk today, even though I'm totally sober. I'm grateful I have this video to listen to because I feel like have to be laying down right now. You know what, Liz? I'm going to be totally real. That's part of the reason why we are here, literally. Because I know for me, for the past, I would say like 2 or 3 days, um, well, honestly, more. It's been about 2 weeks, but I have been doing one of those home detoxes again, and I just got through. Actually, literally yesterday, I did one of the liver stone cleanses. But that, let me just say, Liz, this is very common right now, and maybe not for everyone. Maybe it's literally just you and I, but it is on a regular basis lately. It's like there's this wavelength or this frequency of energy that can kind of cross your path, and it feels like you're on drugs, or you're like there's this unnatural level of kind of heightened awareness. Sometimes that's the collective that you're feeling. Sometimes that is the energy that's with, that we're experiencing. Every now and then it is also, let's be real. Every now and then it's like an imbalance in the body. Let's say if you're one of those people that gets stuck on anxiety, or if you're sitting there right now and you're feeling this weird low grade kind of seething anxious feeling that's burning in your gut, or maybe right underneath your sternum there, and that sort of collective anxiety that will gather and kind of hold in the gut, that will be a really good sign to work with your kidneys. And not to make it even weirder, but there's a really good way to access your kidneys if you want to do so, by gently tapping or kind of rubbing, massaging the beginning and the end of the kidney meridian on your body. And so I'm just going to describe that, and then we're going to start some readings. And so for anyone out there who's feeling anxious, you're feeling afraid, you're feeling maybe hesitant, maybe you're feeling like you have this kind of pressure locked up in your body, and you don't know if that pressure wants to fight or kind of scream, or maybe even laugh in sort of a manic way. That's a good example of when kidney energy will build up in the body. And so here's what you do. For those of you that can reach down and connect with your feet, somebody out there's going to be like, what? But really, if you can reach down and connect with your feet, what you're going to do is kind of press right kind of into the arch of your foot, kind of in line with your second toe. I can't hold my foot up on the camera. It would be weird, but you guys can imagine this hand right here in the shape of a foot, and we'll make my thumb the big toe. Okay. So you have this, you're just going to imagine it. And this will be your second toe. What you're going to do is you're going to dig right in between the second and third toe, right in the arch of your foot, and stick your fingers in there and kind of press. And what'll happen is you're going to find a little pressure point. And sometimes you'll move up and down, back and forth a little bit, but I promise you, Every single living person has this point on their body. So press up into the soles of your feet, just in line with the second toe, right into the arch. You'll feel that pressure point. Kind of massage it, press it. I know somebody out there is literally doing this with me right now. And so if you are, take a deep breath in and just imagine it's like you're breathing up from the bottoms of your feet. And don't worry if you can't do it right now, you can do it later. And so you're going to massage right down there on the bottoms of your feet. Do both feet. It's important to do both of them, okay? So you're going to massage in the arch of your foot. And then the next thing you're going to do is go right up here to your collarbone, right to the top of your collarbone. And everyone, literally every living person has this. What you can do is feel that little notch in your collarbone right there, that little notch right there. What you'll do is just kind of tap right on the tip of it, or you can just hold. And for some of you, this will be the silliest thing you'll see and do all day. And what's wild is it works amazingly well. And so you'll tap a little bit, kind of rub, open it up there, place your fingers, give it a little bit of pressure, and hum. Literally hum. We're going to do it one time here real quick. And just so you know, it's just as much for me as it is for you. And so let's reduce fear, hesitation, anxiety, fight or flight from the body. Tap your collarbone. Take a deep breath in with me. Here we go. And hum. The mic may not pick it up because you know how sound filters are over YouTube and social media. But what you want to do is, as you're tapping or holding your collarbone with pressure, just breathe in and do this deep guttural chest vibration type of hum where you really just vibrate everything in your chest. Just kind of let that echo through the body. Usually the way it works is you don't have this victorious moment where you're like, oh my God, all my anxiety's gone. That's actually not how it works. What you'll notice is that usually in about 5 to 10 minutes, sometimes a little bit longer, maybe 15 minutes, and you can continue to massage the feet and do that up at your collarbone. It's not that you have this moment of victory. It's like something drains out and you're like, anyway, I'll just go back. It's like you just normalize and you go back into what you're doing. And so it's not necessarily a pathway that upon drainage leads to revitalization of emotion or energy in the body. Although kidneys have some people say they have some of the greatest effect over vital life force energy in your body than anything. In traditional Chinese medicine, they call the kidneys, I think, like the seat, or it's sort of like the source of qi within the body. And so while you can greatly, greatly alter physical well-being, each one of these pathways also holds a very important and powerful emotional wavelength. And so anyway, when you learn to tap into those, everything changes. And so that said, it's been far too long, 37 minutes. Let's begin the readings. Here we go. We're going to sound the bell. We've never done this before. It's getting weirder and weirder. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and I don't know. You guys probably can't even hear that. Anyway, let's do a few readings. For those of you guys that would like a reading, thank you for weathering the first 37 minutes. I'll tell you the real reason why we do that. We do it to kind of weed out people to see who the real ones are, the ones that are going to hang out and get weird with this. Most of the normal muggles, after like about 15 minutes of listening to me rant about really weird, obscure shit, they'll just bounce. They'll be like, oh my God, why did I click on this man's show? What is this? And so, yeah, let's do some readings. Now, if you are a member of this channel, that will aid you, but because it just makes it easier for me to see your name. But I want to say this. I mean this sincerely. We have done, oh God, like hundreds maybe of tarot live streams over the past 8 years. Okay. I do not intentionally skip people. So I want you guys to know that if you get skipped in here, like if there's not a line, there isn't like some first me and then you, it's like, we're just going to scroll through and we're just going to grab people. And the reason why I'm saying this is I don't want anybody to get offended if you don't get a reading. We're going to hang out here for a while and do as many as we can, but it's also okay for you to ask that question again, because for those of you guys that know me, you will know I'm not good at monitoring the chat. I lose my place constantly. You know, I'll see a comment and totally lose my train of thought and be like, what was I doing? Um, it's just part of how we roll. And so, you can do a super chat if you want. I'm totally real. You can definitely do that. It's no requirement. You can also donate on PayPal if you choose. Sometimes that will help and that will bump people up to the list. But this is not for paid readings, and I want to make everybody sure that you know that. That's not what it's about. I mean, you can always book with me later if you want, but I'm saying this more for new people because we have a bit more people hanging out with us here today. Everyone else will know. They'll know what I'm talking about. And so let us begin. I'm gonna scroll up and grab the first time I saw readings mentioned because I he probably thinks I didn't see it. Mm, 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 mm. Here we go. Navigating the chat. Keep going. Keep going. Okay, well, I don't know where the question was, but I'm almost absolutely positive it was Jason H. Jason H, you're still here, right? Where is he? Here we go. Boom. That's because you said so. I'll take one for you. Totally take. I don't know what you're gonna take, dude. But anyway, we're gonna do a reading for you. We're gonna start with Jason H. Okay, you guys, just because you were there early. Here we go. Mm. Um, they're gonna be pretty general. If you're quick, Jason, you can shoot a comment down into the bottom of the chat there, and hopefully, or a question. If you have a question, down in the bottom of the chat, and I will see that. Hopefully, for those who don't know, I'm an advocate of heavy shuffling. A lot of you guys have heard me say that before. As a person that's done this work for 8 years, which is nothing, literally nothing. It's like a speck on the map. It's like a breath of it's like one breath of life. You know what I mean? In the overall scope of our incarnational cycles. And so the reality is, anything can happen. Let's see what we go. But I'm an advocate of heavy shuffling, complete randomization of the cards. So we're going to do that one more time. Jeremy says Wand of Hearts for you, Jason. Okay, maybe. I don't know. Is that a card? Wizard of Pentacles. Hell yeah. Here we go. For Jason H, is going to be kicking off our live stream Hurricane Extravaganza. Let me tell you, the wind is kicking right now, you guys. You might hear it. You might hear it on the mic. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Jason H, what do we need to know? Boom. Jason H, thank you for being here today. You have received, man, it's been a while. Oh, wait, hold on. Pause, everybody. Pause. Hold on. Now we're ready. Boom, Jason H. Welcome. You have received justice. Now, I got to be real. I have not seen justice in a reading. I don't know, maybe like a month or so. Maybe it's been longer. I'm not exactly sure. I have a horrible, horrible concept of time, but this is for anyone else that needs to hear this. When you receive the justice card, you need to understand one very simple thing. And I say this with love and respect. Where you are right now in this now moment, what you're experiencing, the current status of your well being, wherever you are is exactly where you are meant to be. And I don't say that from this jaded place of cynicism. I mean it authentically, because that's what justice says. What's done is done. Everyone's getting exactly what they deserve. Every now and then we're on a really good side of justice and the scales are being balanced, and it's like things are kind of evening themselves out in our life, and we're like, wow, I can finally move forward, and I finally understand some truth. Or maybe you've understood your own personal truth this entire time, and that sort of truth has been granted to you. And in some cases justice is an incredible victory. And then I have to be really authentic, because on another side, justice will also be a punishment. And I know not a lot of people like to hear that. I'm not defining you as that, Jason. I'm giving you both sides of it. Why do we do that? Because I do not reverse cards. No one that reads energy will ever need to reverse a card. I'm just being real. I'm just being real. If you're a tarot reader, I invite you to never reverse a card ever again. You should not need to have a card diagonal or at a 90-degree angle to tell you what kind of a reading it is. If you're reading the energy, you should be able to know all sides, in and out, every aspect of it. And the other side of justice, Jason, is that every now and then it's like this, they'll be like, this is what you created. And it's not like this, like, boom, sorry, bitch. It's like, well, this is what you created. And so the reality is, it's a good place to be for most of us, because even if you're in a difficult place in your life right now, this is something that you can build and grow and kind of create change out of, because justice says, I mean, most importantly, what's done is done. And so maybe you're looking back on times in your life, maybe you're thinking like, man, I wish I would have done it like this, or I could have had it like that, or I wish I would have, when this thing came. And you must look at that and go, you know what, no, this, everything went exactly the way it was supposed to be. There's no shame anymore, there's no blame. Everyone gets what they deserve, and we keep rolling. And so, Jason, I pray that finds you in the best way possible. Honestly, I feel like it's a good thing for you, and that you're in a state of kind of completing certain things in your life that are going to lead you to a much different. Well, it's not even like you need to be a different version of yourself. I just think it's like you have an incredible opportunity approaching. And so I hope that finds you well. Nice. Thanks, Miranda. Jason says it's uncomfortable. Sorry. Boom. We got a real one in the house. You know it. You know it. Boom. Who's up next? Roy Diamond Heart says the sunglasses really add a good touch. Thank you, thank you. I don't know why I'm doing it now, but I decided to just kind of have fun and keep it weird. I think the less we can take ourselves seriously, the better. And then also it's because most of the time when I actually do readings, I'll have my eyes closed, and it gets really weird. Um, anyway, we're gonna do another reading. Aurora Diamond Heart, since I have you on the screen, I'm gonna pull a card for you. You know. Thank you for being our mod. Hopefully things are going good in the wilds of Michigan. For those of you guys hanging out with Aurora Diamond Heart, what the hell's going on? Boom. Well, Miss Aurora, you may have been doing a lot of planning, pondering, sitting there at times, idly wondering, well, damn, how do I fill these 3 cups in front of me? What do I do about the 4th cup? Everyone I know has a 4th cup. They all do. Where's my 4th cup? And it's like a lot of times we're going to be doing a lot of, you can, I know you will be able to appreciate this term. There's a lot of yearning that comes with the 4 of cups. There's a lot of moments of sitting there going, how will I, when will I, where will I? It's like that moment where you're like, Lord, help me fill these cups in front of me, or, whatever your special mixture is. And the problem with this is, number one, that people have expectations of themselves in a 4 of cups stage where you'll be like, I should be doing that. I should also be doing this. I should definitely be over there doing all those things. And you know what? The reality is I'm kind of just not really doing anything. Or maybe you'll just do the bare minimum. Now, don't worry, I'm not defining you as such. I'm just saying that's kind of the things that happen with 4 of cups. And so in the midst of that, you might have been asking questions. And so who knows? Maybe you've already figured it out, but this is for anyone else out there who has been asking it over and over and over again. There's these times in your life when you keep asking questions of spirit, and you'll ask it in your prayers, you'll ask it in your meditations, you'll ask it in your dreams, and you'll wonder why you don't ever get an answer. And then a 4 of cups will show up and go, hey, look, we've been trying to tell you, change your perspective. And then you're like, boom, and then it happens, and something that you've been waiting for comes to you. And so 4 of cups is not an action oriented, excuse me, yeah, 4 of cups, I was about to say 4 of pentacles, but it was 4 of cups. It's not an action oriented moment. It's a stage in which you're going to be doing a lot of planning, yearning. Just be careful, don't ask the same question too many times, because eventually you'll be like, oh my god, it was right there the whole time. And so anyway, I'll pause there, and thanks for hanging out. Who's next? Let's find somebody. I'm going to scroll maniacally through the chat. Get ready, you guys. Here we go. Yes, we got a cringer. Boom. What? Warble? Oh, Jesus. Okay, we got a cringer. What's up, my friend? We're gonna pull a card for you. We got Warblewom in the house. They probably already left, so this will be for most everybody else as well. But it's definitely for Warblewom. Thank you for being here. Or Womb. I don't know. Jesus, I don't know where you guys get these fucking screen names. Warble Womb. Let us begin. Boom. Mr. and Mrs. Warblewomb, you have received the Wheel of Fortune. And I say this really authentically. This is a good, amazing, amazing thing to get. And so if there was a message that comes with this, and there most definitely is that you are in a stage right now in which it is time to strike while the iron is hot. And this can stretch into many different areas of a person's life. It really depends on what it is you've been working with lately, what it is you've been trying to manifest, the cycles that you've been in, cycles of healing, cycles of growth, cycles of whatever it is you're creating in this world. A wheel of fortune will show up, and that is spirit telling you, look, this is your time. It's now. Do the thing. Take the jump. If there's an opportunity that comes knocking on your door, this is for everybody that is here. If an opportunity comes knocking on your door and you're pulling cards for yourself and a wheel of fortune comes in, that is spirit telling you to do it and do it now. And I gotta be real, because the other side of that is, what if you didn't do it? You know what I mean? What if you're not sure how to make that decision? What if you're not ready to bet everything in that one moment? Because you'll kind of do that in a wheel of fortune. You'll go, really? Boom, put it all on black. Here we go. You know what I mean? The ball comes around. And for the first time, maybe in a while, it will come to you. And so you need to take direct action. You need to do it quickly. I shouldn't say need. That's kind of a haphazard term when it comes to readings. I would say, as a suggestion, just be mindful of your cycles. Know that there's no penalty for everyone out there. There is no penalty for not responding to the Wheel of Fortune. However, you will have to wait a while for it to come around again. So technically, you could get left on red for weeks. You'll be like, damn, nobody's going to respond. No, they won't. But the chance will come again. So do not lose heart. Thank you, Warblewom. Goodbye. Who's next? Who could it be now? Boom. Amber Ray, what up? A reading for sure. Why not? Tuned in to see how things are going down there. Sounds kind of, honestly, Amber, it's, well, I wouldn't say it's fun. I would say that there's a pretty decent amount of wind. I feel like maybe a couple of you guys will be able to pick it up on the mic. But I gotta be real. In Riverview, Florida, it's mild. I mean, I know there was 17 tornado warnings across the state over the last 3 to 4 hours or so. So there's other places where people are getting it really hard, and my prayer goes out to those individuals and family and people out there. But I'm grateful to say Riverview, Florida is chill. Well, a little windy, but anyway, let's pull a card for you, Amber Ray. Thanks for stopping by. Let me create extreme randomization. Here we go. Ready? Extreme randomization of multidimensional tarot. For all those of you hanging out here in the eye of the storm, once again, I'm going to be going live over on Rumble with Mr. Michael Koff at Riding Through the Unknown, which I'm kind of a sucker for really cool screen names or really cool titles. And like when people have cool names or titles, even if it's like something cheesy, I'm like, yeah, So he has a good titled show. This is for Amber Ray. Hope you're doing good out there, Amber, wherever you are. For those of you guiding Amber A, what needs to be seen? 3, 2, 1, and boom. What? Well, Amber, congratulations. You got justice, but for the sake of repetition, or understanding cycles of repetition, rather, to what does justice apply? Now, you might have heard a few minutes ago, Amber Ray, justice will come into your life to tell you what's done is done, depending on what side you're on or how things are going right now. Justice could bring victory or a little bit of defeat. The important thing for you to know is this is exactly the way it's supposed to be, no matter where you are right now in this now moment. It's kind of how it is. And so, like I said, could be good, could be difficult, but it's about rebalancing. See the scales? And so, anyway, you probably heard that a few minutes ago. You also have a page of swords, which, man, let me tell you, this is probably it's a severe card to have, but not in what I would call like a disastrously severe way. It's just severe because if you're wondering, is there a thing I should be or I could be focusing on to help myself grow or strengthen my abilities in communication? Yes, the page of swords is that one person in the world of tarot who will say some of the things that other people can't really say. And kind of like the Queen of Swords, which is, we could say the more developed version of her. The Page of Swords will show up at a time in your life in which the throat chakra is opening to a new level. And so it's really about communication for you right now. It's about using your words wisely. It's about using your words with power. It is about telling the truth sometimes in a very jagged and kind of raw sort of way, because Page of Swords is raw, dude. Page of Swords will say some shit, you know what I mean? And you'll be like, whoa, wow, all right. Those moments where someone gives you this backhanded compliment and you're like, damn, all right, I guess if you want to put it that way, you know what I mean? Page of Swords will say that, but in most cases she speaks the truth. Now, it's going to be differently taken depending on what truth that is and how it's presented, and that's actually where the Page of Swords comes into her great strength, because when this shows up for people, you guys, you are in the process of developing new strength in communication. And so we could say it's not so much what you're saying, it's the way that you're saying it, but from a much more developmental perspective. And you have a lot more leeway, I would say, with a Page of Swords. Your pages are always in development. So you're going to be getting stronger within your abilities. You're going to be getting stronger also within the mental body as well, because that's what swords partially represent. But um, don't worry about embarrassing yourself right now. That's a very important thing that you need to hear, because Page of Swords is going to embarrass themselves. This is what happens. They're going to say something and they go, oh, I mean, sorry, you know what I mean? And you must allow it. And so be bold with your speech. Understand that everything that's going on right now is meant to be. Thank you, Amber Ray. We're gonna keep going. What's up, Joanna? Serious commitment with this relationship. Oh my Lord, what's going on? Thank you. That's a good question. I know I'm being very, what's the word? Silly. I guess that's the downside of wearing these sunglasses. So it's like it brings out, it's this, well, wait, is this an altar? Oh shit, you guys. It happened. Here we go. Joanna LeBlanc, what does she need to know? We have a question. Actually, thank you, Joanna. We're going to get serious. I'm going to very gently nudge into your energy field. Thank you. For those of you assisting Joanna, tell us the nature of commitment within the relationship. Boom. Whoa, that's a hell of a sign, Joanna. You must have faith and continue for the moment. You're not going to get to know right now. And I don't say that from a like tough look. You don't get to know. It's not that kind of statement. It's the kind of one where we're like, look, right now you're in a process and you're on a new leg of a journey. You have all the tools that you need to succeed. You've got literally everything that you need to succeed. However, right now you might not know where you're going. You might not know with whom. You might not know how you're going to get there. You got abilities. You got tools. You got knowledge. And oftentimes we'll question, am I doing the right things? Where is this going? Is it going anywhere? Because here's the thing, Six of Swords will come in and you might feel like you're not going anywhere within the context of a relationship, maybe within the your life, job, whatever it is, you're going to be like, I'm not going anywhere. Where is this going? There'll be uncertainty. You will feel the lack of movement and know that, man, if I had that thing, who knows what that thing is. In the case of Six of Swords, obviously you don't have a way to row yourself across the water, or do you? Well, you do have guides. You do have someone with you in this now moment, whether it be spirit, whether it be physical. Now, the thing is, Six of Swords isn't really going to concern itself with any level of commitment other than the commitment that you have, because ultimately, Six of Swords will be about you and your journey. And I understand there's questions about who will be with me on that journey. And I guess this is both the beautiful part and the hard part. You must have faith and keep going regardless. And so that's just honestly why I love Six of Swords, because it is the literal faith card. For some people, it's that moment where you're like, oh, I realize I don't get to know. Because that is kind of what it tells you. They're like, sorry, we're not going to tell you. But what we are going to tell you is that, look, you see that over there on the other side of the shore? We're taking you there. You might not know why. You might not know when you're going to get there, but you will be there. And pretty soon things are going to be a lot different. So I feel you. I definitely feel you. Thanks for hanging out. Sober Don in the house. He says, I'd like a reading. I was washing dishes and my hands were wet. This goes out to Sober Don and all those of us who are painfully, rawly sober in the moment. Not that that's a problem. It's been a much better state of mind for me, but damn, it gets raw, right? When you choose absolutely no chemical cushioning against the harsh stimulus of the modern world. It's like that meme, you know what I mean? Everyone's seen this one. The guy's like, "Are you winning, son?" And the kid's like, lying in a ball, collapsed on his floor, I don't know, with like a bottle of vodka, a crack pipe. It's like, "Are you winning, son?" It's like, damn. But anyway, yeah. Sorry, I'm just ranting. This is for Sober Dawn. What do we need to know? Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Boom. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Sober Dawn, you got a Ace of Cups. I got to be real. This is a hell of a thing to have right now. I would say look at your cycles. Look at your cycles of relationship. Look at your cycles of, honestly, love, of self-identity, of what it is that you're giving to the world. Ace of Cups is a really beautiful thing to have. I think if you're able to identify cycles and if you're willing in some place in your life to do things very, very differently, because the aces are cycles, but they'll also help you change a timeline. And so right now you have a great possibility to really change, alter, strengthen, or heal how you perceive yourself. Like, what is it that you feel when you look at yourself in the mirror, or you really look at who and what you've become and what you're creating in this world? I know that sounds like this really big, like massive thing, but it is. Look, it's a gigantic cup. It's overflowing. And so just be mindful of the cycles that continue to come around for you every few years, every few months, because this card will show up and they will literally say, look, man, you can change everything right now. And you'll be like, what? What do you mean? What do you mean everything? I'll be like, well, everything when it comes to your relationships, love, how you define yourself, your emotional well-being, the way you kind of, what you share with the world, you can change all of that right now. We're not saying you need to. We're telling you you can change it, but you got to do things very differently. Break traditions, break rules, do it the opposite way. Climb in through the window instead of opening the door. It's like you really have to alter a path. When you're willing to do so, the universe will be forced to react to you differently. And so, thank you. I hope that helps. Hope that means something to you. Let me know if you guys have any questions about the current hurricane status here in Riverview, Florida. I wish I might actually position the camera so people can see it. We are getting well, actually the wind is dying down. But I'm just going to be real. I want to be totally honest. It is not yet anything that I would call looking like real hurricane force anything. And I realize maybe it hasn't fully hit. It has not landed, you know what I mean? We have not made landfall, as they say. But yeah, it's pretty chill. So honestly, I'll say we are grateful. We are grateful for that. Um, but yeah, thanks you guys. Let's keep rolling. Oh, thank you for your super chats as well. Let's grab actually, yeah, we're gonna grab one of them. Here's the first one. Kiki Erica, how's it going? Hey, what's going on? Hi Matthew. Can I have a card on relocation situation? Hell yeah. Take a deep breath in with me, Kiki Erica. You'll hear this like 8 to 10 seconds after I say it, so I'll already be taking the breath by the time you do. Just take that big breath in, let it pass gently from the body, breathe it all the way out. For those of you assisting the person known as Kiki Erica, we're just looking for anything that can be seen surrounding her relocation situation. What do we need to know? Ready? 3, 2, 1, boom. Oh man, get ready, Kiki Erica. This is gonna be a fun one, and I say this with love and respect, not in some sarcastic way, because sometimes I get weird and cynical and make things a joke, and I don't know, it's just how we roll sometimes. But this is for real. I would first ask yourself, um, do I really need to move? And maybe you do. Okay. So maybe that's already been established. Like you really, really have to. And it's like, it's undoubtable. I got to go. It's over. And so let's say if that's the case, all right, all right. So you're at a crossroads, and that is literally two of pentacles. It comes into your life in a time in which you are at a crossroads of sorts, a little bit of a different crossroads than other stages of the human journey. If it is about movement, that's why I say, are you sure you have to move right now? Or is it just that you want to move? Because the two of pentacles shows up and they're like, yep, you're at a crossroads, but this is a very different one, and you actually don't have to make a decision. And I know you're going to be like, what? But it's literally two of pentacles. Two of pentacles is a rare moment in which you can kind of remain exactly where you are if you choose to, if you're comfortable in doing so, if you're okay with the balance that you've created right now and the way your life is going. You must know that there is no penalty if you are unable to move, or if this does not materialize in the way that you're hoping. That happens with two of pentacles all the time, and usually what it has to do with is you really will have to make a decision on what it is that you prioritize in this world. And it's almost like you have to choose one aspect of yourself over another aspect of yourself, and then allow yourself to take a leap of faith. Like you can imagine this woman on this tightrope right here. She might drop one of those pentacles she's holding on to, and yes, your balance will change and you will be forced to fall off that tightrope. Now, the kicker is, this is why I said you might not actually have to move anywhere. And I see your comment there. It says, I have no choice. And so in that case, just know that there is a absolute road for you, but it's not going to show up in the way that other ones do. Two of Pentacles is not one of those, now I go this house or that house or this town. It's not like that. You are going to have to take a leap of faith and jump into something that you right now you're uncertain of. Just like you don't know how far down you're going to fall if you fall off that tightrope. But the reality is you're going to be embracing another aspect of yourself in the journey. So if you're saying, what do I need to know about moving? I would say this is a time to make hard and fast decisions, leaps of faith. When you have a two of pentacles, you will lose your balance within the creation of the scenario that you're trying to manifest. And so if you can expect that, then you can allow yourself to, fall differently, fall in a different direction. And what that'll do is bring you in a whole new place. It'll honestly, I think it's going to open up your path of movement, but it's going to be at the cost of you leaping in a certain direction without knowing if it's exactly the right choice. Now, the kicker is it might not be the right choice. And that's a difficult thing to stomach with the two of pentacles, because the reality is you can make another change. This is the softest crossroads that there is in the world of tarot. It's like, yes, it's a crossroads, but it's like, technically, this one shows up at a time in which you could have your cake and eat it too. Maybe not forever. But anyway, not to go on and on, Kiki Erica, but you're going to need to take a leap of faith and jump at something, and allow yourself to fall into it. And anyway, I'll just keep ranting at you. I hope it helps in some way. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Kiki Erica. Let's grab, we got another one here. Where'd they go? Boom. What's up? Brian, the Solar Bee. How's it going, my friend? Brian, the creator of the Full Disclosure Now conference, coming back. Hopefully, is the Serrata Beach Resort still there? I'm pretty sure it is. But we are looking forward to the Full Disclosure Now conference coming up in 2025. I mean that sincerely. And so thanks for stopping by, Brian. I'd like a reading too, please, about myself and the movement. Totally. Let's take a moment for a little bit of shuffling here. We are debating on doing a tarot class by the end of the year. I do not know if that is foolish or if it is very appropriate. I'll rely on the people of this community to let me know if you do want to do a tarot class. People ask me to do it all the time. And let me tell you, that is not an exaggeration in any way. There is almost not 1 week that goes by of me doing readings in which at least one person is like, how did you learn? How, are you going to do another class on that soon? And every time I'm like, yeah, we're probably going to do it maybe at the end of the year. And so people keep asking. I don't know if I get enough, if we get a little bit more interest, we might pull it off. We might be able to do it. I can tell you one thing: we do have an entirely new structured, kind of a little bit of a journey we're going to be taking in 2025. It's in conjunction with the Patreon group in that it's part of tier 2 in Patreon, but it's also something that people are going to be able to purchase on a 1-by-1 basis. And what it is we're going to be taking some of you guys you're going to be like, what? This is crazy. Although get ready. We're going to be taking a year-long journey in 2025 through the energy body. And what we're going to be doing is each month in tier 2 in Patreon, we're going to be focusing on a specific chakra in the body. Now, some people out there, they're like, well, Matthew, there's only 6 chakras. And other people say, well, there's 7. And then, there's some people that are like, well, actually, excuse me, actually, there's 72,000. You know what I mean? And you're like, wait, what? And so depending on where you fit in, the world of energy body anatomy, you're going to have a different number. There are routinely, I would say, about 12 different chakra points, energy centers within the body that we work on in every single energy clearing session. And one of the things we're going to be doing in 2025 is each month we're going to be focusing solely on one place within the body. It's going to be kind of a journey in which we're going to be doing a little bit of energy clearing. We're going to be doing a little bit of education in terms of what I would call, if you want to call it this term, where's the cringers? Do we have cringers? Someone's going to cringe. There's going to be a little bit of advanced chakra theory. I know I said it. I'm sorry. Somebody just cringed. But if there is one thing, and it's like at a certain point, you got to learn how to take full ownership over things. If there is one thing that I know we can just dive into on a level that very few people within this multidimensional soul group can do, it is within the realm of energy body anatomy. And so it's going to be extremely deep. And at the same time, you're going to be picking up a technique that you can use in your own way to help clear that energy center within yourself and others. And so we're beginning in January 2025. You'll see another announcement about it soon, but it's a monthly thing. And it's going to be going all year long. In the meantime, Brian's probably sitting there going, what? I thought he was going to do a reading. And then he started talking about this Patreon group and all this weird stuff. And anyway, here we go. For those of you assisting Brian in the Full Disclosure Now movement and just what he's creating, we just ask that you show us a relevant symbol of just the energy, where he's going, anything that needs to be known. And this is always a fun one because we never know what's going to come out. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and whoa, boom. All right. Well. Mr. Brian Singh, you got the Knight of Swords. Man, let me tell you. Okay, so you're asking a question about like, what do I need to know about me and the movement and the thing that I'm creating? Number one, this is going to be an intense journey. There is a thing that we sign up for when we take a Knight of Swords into our life. And I don't mean disastrously intense, because a lot of people hear the word intense and they're like, oh man, what? Are you serious? No. It could be joyfully intense. It could be manically intense, or it could be disastrously intense. This is where it sucks and where it's also beautiful. It's up to you to choose which one it's going to be. The thing is, you have received the most intense guy in the entire world of tarot. This guy is the one that will come screaming down from the heavens in a bolt of lightning to literally save a person's life, to extract someone from some dangerous place, or solve a problem, or what I mean, just crazy stuff. This can be a massive hero energy, one of the most heroic possible, which is great, right? You're like, yeah, he's heroic, man. He saves lives. He's really intense. Yeah, yeah, cool, cool. Awesome. Really, really beautiful things, right? Yes. And he might also cause collateral damage in the process without intending it, of course. He's not here like, I'm going to cause damage too. It's just they have to be very careful about the way they move. The Knight of Swords is capable of striking with surgical precision, or he can come in like a giant mallet and just and just smash everything, and it's like, dude, what? And so once again, we're not defining you as such. We're just saying, when you ask the question, you have this amazing intense energy that comes in. And so it's cool because it's like, well, you have to choose. And then it sucks because then it's like, oh man, that means I have to consciously choose how I'm going to use the intensity that has been granted to me. People that have a Knight of Swords in their life, they will have a person that will stop at nothing to meet a goal. They don't care. It's like, oh, I know I'm saying this in a very severe way, Brian, but I know that you can understand this. And I also know, because you and I have spoken, which is amazing. I didn't catch this at first. You're literally a sword guy. So it's like, but anyway, this guy will be intense, and they can create damage. They can, come in all kinds of big energies. They'll save lives. They could be a hero. They could save the day for everyone. I know I'm making this really big, but you guys, that's what the Knight of Swords is. He's all about intensity. And so you just got to be mindful of how you use that. You have to be mindful of the throat chakra. Be very careful with your words, because you'll say one thing, and to one person it'll save their life, but to another person it's like, and they're like, oh God, and then they just, and it's like, it'll either kill them or it'll save their life. And so, yeah, man, it's all about the throat chakra. Honestly, as an omen, this guy will get it done, which is an important thing for everyone out there learning how to read tarot. This was a thing that kind of struck me in the start of this journey. A lot of people get confused in their readings when a lot of knights come in. Knights of this and knights of swords and knights of pentacles. Are like, okay, knights, right. I think it means. And a lot of times when you look at like the traditional meanings of the knights, it's sort of, I mean, it fits, because there's a lot of canonical traditionality when it comes to old school tarot. Then each and every person who reads will also redefine things in their own way. And so we always have license to understand it in our own unique manner. But dude, this guy's a brilliant character to have. And anyway, I will kind of leave it there, but I think it's an excellent omen for something that is crystal clear, highly efficient, surgically precise, yet also technically, if they're not careful, they'll hack somebody up. And so anyway, thanks, Brian. Thanks for being here. Thanks for having us at your conference. I mean that more than you will ever know. Let's keep going. Who's next? Who's up next, guys? I'm just going to scroll through. Get ready. Here we go. 3, 2. Oh, God. Here comes. Oh, wait. Hold on. I'm ascending. Wait. No, it wasn't. It was. I thought it was the solar flash. Sorry, you guys. I felt myself leaving my body for a minute there. Boom. Read Afraid. Hello there. It's really good to see you again. Hi, Matthew. Would love a reading. Oh, I forgot. StreamYard doesn't show us the little emojis, so it comes out. Person, turquoise, waving, speech, guidance on next step. Totally. Work. Let's see what shows up. Out there in the wilds of Portugal. This is for those of you with Rita right now. We're just looking for anything that needs to be known or seen regarding next steps in her work. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, and boom. Okay. I'm making it like really, really dramatic today. The more dramatic we make it, the more people click off our live stream. So only the real ones remain. Anyway, Rita, we have so many swords today, you guys. This is a trip. This is National Swords Day. Um, you know what's crazy? Let me just put this aside for a second. This is just a little bit. Sorry, Rita. This is gonna be you're gonna be pissed. It's like a weird diversion. Uh, we were at the Journey to Truth conference in May of this year, and I was hanging out with Brian, and we went out to the car, and he showed he showed me one of his samurai swords, and I remember it was like in that exact moment he was like, "Be careful, don't touch it." And for those of you guys that have handled like real like swords, it's like, dude, it is so razor sharp. And that moment where you're like, oh, it's cool, I'm not gonna get it. But I actually did. I literally sliced open the side of my finger in that moment, and I just went and just kind of held it, and like nobody knew. And I was like, yeah, man, dude, that's so sharp, bro. It's so sharp. It was shocking. I was like, oh shit, you know what I mean? It was like instantaneous. And so don't play with that Knight of Swords. He'll definitely cut you. That said, Rita, you got a King of Swords. And man, okay, so if you want to bring the King of Swords into the realm of next steps, right? Ooh, it's kind of heavy. I wouldn't say negative. It's not impossible, but I'm just gonna be real. Here we go, Rita. I'm gonna speak to you as if you and I have never met. When the King of Swords shows up in your life, you must understand that there is still a wound within the heart that is calling to be acknowledged, seen, healed, or exposed in a new way. That's the plight of the King of Swords. He's one of the strongest, toughest, most upright, most unshakable beings in the entire world of tarot. If there's ever a person that you want to call to hold space, to feel safe, to stand alongside you, to be this like living rock, it is literally the King of Swords. It's crazy how strong they are. And I'll go back into the version of me that knows you, Rita, because I know you got a lot of that energy. The thing that you would need to know, I would say, about in terms of next steps, um, there's a lot more communication that a King of Swords needs to do. There's a lot more speaking that a King of Swords needs to do. They need to be able to break through the vulnerabilities that lay under their armor that stop them from being bold and loud and present and seen. Because here's the thing, King of Swords doesn't have fear. That's one good thing about him. He's absolutely moved past the fear stage. And so if you're one of those people that's going, well, what do I do when he comes in? He's asking you, you need to move past your fear. You need to expose the deepest wound that is within you for the world to see. It's literally like you're going to open it up and go, yep, this happened. Right there it is. I'm still healing it. It could be a number of things, physical, emotional. You're going to have your own mixture of what that is. I would say in your case, Reed, it feels more like emotions rather than physical body, but you're going to know more about that. But he needs to expose a piece of himself. And honestly, what that will do, depending on the type of work that you're looking to do right now and what way you're looking to do it, that is how he draws people into his life. It is not necessarily through the demonstration of strength, because all you have to do is look at a King of Swords. You look at them and go, oh, damn, wow, okay, well, they're very strong. You know what I mean? You'll look at them and you'll know. But at the same time, it's like, this guy has to open himself up in a whole different way. And you'll realize, kind of like the Hermit has this problem too. There's a couple other characters in tarot that have this problem. The King of Swords is one. I also have this problem. Let me tell you, the King of Swords is one of those people where it's like you hang out with them for a little bit, and one day you'll realize, oh my God, I realize I really know so little about you. And it's not bad. It's just like, whoa, there's always this new thing that comes out. You're like, what? Where did that come from? I didn't know that. You know what I mean? There's all these little things that come popping out, but it's at the risk of you being vulnerable in a way that you haven't been before. And just know that attracts people. People come into your life. They'll show up over and over and over again. But it's at the risk of saying, well, guys, here's my deepest wound. And people will come in going, yeah, well, I have the same thing. And that's where you go into a new stage. And so that, and I would say just kind of work with your crown chakra a little bit more. It's a thing that happens for King of Swords. They must work with the crown. Boom. Who's next? Who shall it be? Who's next? I'm just gonna click on a random one because it's hard. It's a hard thing to do. 3, 2, 1. Oh, it did get one. What? Okay, Emma and Emma the Cat and Friends. I'm a real one. I remain. Okay, thank you. Thank you for being a real one. Thank you for being a not an AI bot. There's a few of them out there. Oh man. Okay, let me just hold on. I can't believe I forgot about this. Let me. I'm gonna make a strange announcement before we pull a card with Emma the Cat and Friends, and then you guys are gonna be bummed because I'm not gonna expand upon this announcement for maybe a week or two. Who knows? Maybe never. But I have to say, I received a very, very deep and rare honor recently. I mean, one that, I was like, one day this will happen. I'm gonna tell you, if you do this work, if you walk this path, if you continue to develop yourself, if you continue to express the bold authenticity that is within you, especially you do that publicly, and you go on a few shows and put yourself out there, maybe just your own channel. The more you put yourself out there, this will happen to you. And I got my like literally, it's like an award. It's like this badge of honor. I got my first hit video made, the first one ever, you guys. Finally, it actually happened. I'm not going to say who made it. I'm not going to mention anything about it. That will be talked about later because I think I might do a review of it where we show it, fair use and all that, and talk about the situation. But oh my lord, don't go. You could try to find it. You could try to find it on YouTube, but it's not actually under my name. So it's like even if you search for like Matthew Morney and exposed, I don't think you'll find it because I actually looked for it. I looked for it and I was like, oh man, what? I had to go seeking it out. And I only knew because someone told me, because the actual focus of this person's video is somebody else. It's like about a whole other person, but there's this good chunk of, like, I would say 30 to 40 minutes, sort of like at the beginning of it, where, man, you guys, it's legendary the level to which this person chopped me up. It was like, honestly, it was sort of like, for those of you guys that have watched Family Guy, Aurora Diamond Heart knows because she's watched Family Guy. I know other people here watch Family Guy. Back in the old days, the old seasons of Family Guy, season 1 through 14, I would say. Seasons 1 through 14. That was actually kind of when I stopped watching, or 1 through 12. There it's like this honor to be made fun of, to be kind of, you know what I mean? They will bring a character from popular media into Family Guy and they'll just shred him. You know what I mean? They'll just do the worst version of you ever. And it's like an honor. It's sort of like a roast. You know what I mean? It's like, oh man, you got mentioned by so and so. And so I did. I got my first ever, hit video. It is out. It is out there. And the person even says, like, nobody asked me to do this. I just wanted to do it. And so I'm like, whoa, like they real genuinely. And when you watch them, and I'm going to show it later, I know I'm creating unneeded anticipation, but when you watch it later, you will see the sort of the feverish animosity, and I'm going to say it, jealousy that this person held for me and the other person. That, oh man, I'll say there's another guy mentioned on the video, and it's even better. It's even better for him because I mean they just whack. I mean, just both of us, we got chopped to pieces. And so get ready, it's coming up soon, you guys. Oh Lord, you're gonna love it, man. It's gonna be, it's like, man. Anyway, this is for Emma the Cat and Friends. Emma the cat and friends. I'm just gonna pull a card for you. Thank you, Emma. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Well, Emma the cat and friends. You got it. You got a pretty good card. You have a 7 of cups, which look, there's a lot of possibilities around you right now. You might have a lot of very, very well formed kind of dream worlds, or a lot of, really big desires. And maybe every now and then you catch yourself just locked in daydreams or even fantasies about what could be, or every now and then what could have been, or even maybe what might be coming down the road. And here's the thing, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. 7 of Pentacles comes in and they're like, well, right now you're meant to be dreaming, you're meant to be choosing, but you're also meant to honestly make new decisions about what it is that you want. And you really, I shouldn't say need, but you would be suggested to prioritize desires right now, because I guess one of the problems that comes in with the 7 of Cups is that, there's a lot possible for you, and you could have any one of these cups. I mean, really, and they all symbolize different things. It's not really important what they symbolize. They're going to be specific to you. And it really is just pointing to the idea that you have an opportunity to manifest something that is within your heart, within your dream world, within your desires on a deeper level than you've ever done it before. Meaning these will be things that you only barely hinted at, or you sort of got a sip of it. You know what I mean? You got a little taste of it at an earlier stage, and you're like, man, if I could. And so the 7 of Cups says you can. In fact, you can manifest something right now that you haven't been able to generate, that's been living within the recesses of your mind and your heart for quite some time. But you really got to know what you want, and you have to be willing to also understand on the other side of that, that it's going to look oftentimes very different than the way it looks within the mind's eye. And I know for nearly everyone, we understand that in our own way, but it has to be said with a 7 of Cups, because the thing is that people will sit with this energy for years of their life, and they could have it so good, they could have anything they wanted, they could change everything if they were willing to choose differently. And after choosing differently, then you will understand that you will devote yourself entirely to one cup at a time, meaning like one specific outcome, one specific desire, one specific path. That is actually the key to getting all the other cups, but it's at the cost of you prioritizing desire. So right now is the time for you to go, what do I really want or need the most right now? Or what am I just dreaming about? You know what I mean? And then begin to take a little bit of a different action. And honestly, you got to put other desires on the side, because the more you're able to, and I say this from maybe a more mystical or energetic perspective, the 7 of Cups suggests extreme concentration of will, extreme concentration of will, in some cases, forcing something to come into existence, which sometimes works brilliantly. In other cases, maybe not so much. And so, anyway, who's next? Let's keep going. Queen Victor, how's it going? Haha, the deepest the deepest honor that can be bestowed upon a person like me. I was brutally criticized and demonized online, but yeah, no, really, honestly, I can pretty much guarantee you that a lot of people that watch this channel who really enjoy the work that we do, you eventually, because I'm going to show it, and from a place of honor, of course. Um, Eventually, people will see it, and it's going to be one of those things where you will hold nothing but poisonous vitriol for this person, because they are. I mean, truly, and I'm just calling it as it is, calling it as it is. Um, Truly one of the most toxic people I've ever encountered. I mean, like, so far beyond anything that you know what I mean? It's like you when you see it, you'll know. And so, yeah, no, it is. Honestly, it's a sign that you've reached a new stage. When the world chooses to lash out at you with the exact opposite of everything that you are, that's them showing you, like, man, you just entered a whole new level, as evidenced by the fact that all you have is resistance behind it. And so, anyway, Let's do a reading. Who's it gonna be? Bam, she just showed up. Colleen Starasnich. I would love a reading. You came to the right place at the right time. Hopefully you're not in the wilds of Central Florida here, braving this really weird storm. Just so you guys know, the wind has died down tremendously. When we started this live stream about an hour and a half ago, it was just crazy. I mean, and not destructively crazy. Honestly, more I would say like tropical storm level. Because we for those of you guys in Florida, we get it's constant. Like every couple weeks, sometimes every few days, you'll get these wild storms that hang around for a little bit. Now, I'm not saying this is not going to develop into anything greater here, but so far, as of 6:11 p.m. East Coast time, pretty chill. Pretty chill. Pretty, yeah. It's okay. So this is for Colleen Starasnich. Yes, I see your comments, by the way. Here we go. Colleen Starasnich. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Oh, it came back. We're getting repeating cards today. Colleen, is there a situation in your current human life in which you're experiencing a lot of uncertainty and not really knowing what direction you should be going in, or really not clear on what lays on the other side of a certain leg of the journey or a process you've been trying to complete for a long time? The Six of Swords comes into your life in times in which, like I said, there's uncertainty. You might not know where you're going. You might not know exactly what it is, spirit is calling you to do. This is the symbol of faith. And I think one of the things that you have far more resources right now. If there's a need that you have or some kind of a desire, maybe even, a deficit within your world, and you're wondering, when is that going to change? The Six of Swords is telling you, you are in process of doing so right now. It's happening now. And then you'll look around you and go, but wait, but I don't have that, and I'm missing this, and who's going to be with me, or how is it going to go, or what? And that's where the Six of Swords goes. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Don't worry. We're doing for you something right now that you're unable to do for yourself. And we're not saying you can never do it. We're just saying, look at the reality of it, Colleen. Right now, you might be feeling a little bit like you're just drifting in the world without a real direction or a place to go. And I'm not defining you as such, because every now and then it's the literal opposite of that. And you're accompanying another person on their journey of creating certainty and empowerment and understanding acts of faith. Or maybe you're the one right now that needs to just have faith and just honestly allow spirit to take you on the ride that you chose to go on in this life. This is honestly, this is, people who know me know this is probably my favorite card in the world of tarot. Six of Swords showed up for me just times in which it was like, what? You know what I mean? It was like the most poignant answer that could have been given to me in the moment. And I got to be real, it's also like, for some other people, it's the most unsatisfactory answer ever, because the real truth of the Six of Swords says, and I say this lovingly, you don't get to know what's going to happen right now. Sorry, but we're taking you on a journey, and you will know that you have every single thing you need. But sometimes that's the way it has to go, because if you knew where they were bringing you, if you were able to understand where it is that spirit was steering you in this life, a lot of times we would want to change course, or we try to jump out of the boat, or we're like, oh no, I'm going to go back. I'm going back. You know what I mean? You would try to alter the course. And so it is also the path of mystery. And I guess with that, we'll leave it there for Colleen. I hope that helps. She's in Illinois. That's good. Good job. We were in Illinois in May. It was cool. We were out there in Grafton, and I'll believe we probably will be there again. Actually, I should not say that. Famous last words. Uh, if you haven't noticed, there's a lot of positioning and posturing and kind of social division going on. So you never know, but we're planning on being there next year. We're planning on it. Lord willing, right? Lord willing. All right, here we go. Who's next? Let's keep going. Keep going. We're going to click on just a random person. I'm going to close my eyes. Oh, Lord. I'm going to go way up in the chat. There's some pretty good psychics out there that are going to be able to influence the pointer on my mouse. Okay. I know you can do it. Here we go. Three. Oh, I hope this clicks properly. 3, 2, 1. Hey, all right. See Hagenow. Thank you for being here. Let's pull a card for you. Live from the third eye of Hurricane Milton. Please share this video if you're hanging out with us. The YouTube AI yard dog bots have already passed us by. They're like, he said too many cuss words at the beginning. He didn't follow the narrative on the, I called it a tornado. He didn't follow the narrative on the hurricane story. He hasn't even done an anti-hurricane meditation yet. He's not part of the team. So, you know, they already took away everybody that was watching earlier. And now here we are with C. Hagenow. What do we need to know? 3, 2, 1, and boom. Oh, you got an Ace of Swords. Man, you guys were getting so many swords today, you guys. Lots of swords. What does that mean when you see a lot of swords in your reading? Seriously, because a lot of you guys are pulling tarot. You're going to be pulling tarot. A lot of you guys already are, and maybe you understand it in your own way, and you're already an expert. And when I say never reverse cards, you'll be like, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Because some people, you know, are really good at reversing cards. It's okay. It's okay. That's just me. I'm one of those people that's like, don't ever turn your cards upside down. But if you do it that way, that's okay. You do you. Anyway, see Hagenow, you got an Ace of Swords. And when this shows up in your life, well, you're in a timeline shift opportunity pertaining to your social cycles, the manner in which you communicate, the ways in which you present yourself to the world, everything from your tone of voice to your body language to the clothes that you wear to the expression on your face to that particular mixture of individualized energy that you bring when you enter the room. When you have an Ace of Swords in your life, you have a chance or an opportunity to change everything in those areas. And it's, you know, it's the swords are, this is going to sound dumb, swords are extremely sharp. They have, you know, they're double-edged. They can cut on both sides, meaning that if wielded improperly, the swords will cut us and will, you know, we could harm ourselves within the process. The Ace of Swords, though, comes in to say, see Hagenow, this is an opportunity for you to begin expressing yourself very, very differently to the world. And when I say differently, I mean ways in which people who know you would go, what? They did? No way. They didn't. Nah. I mean, he or she or they, sorry. They could, but they won't. They'll never do it. I know they could, but they won't. Then they're like, wait, what? Shit, yeah, okay, okay. You know what I mean? It's like you will baffle people. You will baffle the matrix. You will force the world to respond to you differently. And so one of the ways in which you will do that is you will break cycles of communication. You will break cycles of incommunication. Um, it's a very, very powerful thing. Never underestimate the aces, you guys. I mean this very, very sincerely. Do not underestimate the power of the aces in your life, because if you're willing to look at your cycles of kind of social inclusion, friendship, the way you are received by the world, you know, the way people communicate with you, you know, the personal power and the ability you have to articulate yourself. If you dramatically alter that, your life will change in a big way. And anyway, I probably just said that to you 3 times in a row in different ways. But it's all we know how to do. I'm going to grab another one. It's going to be at random. We never know. Who's it going to be? Hey, oh, it's crystal clear. Did we do? Oh, well, there you are. Dude, I feel like we did a reading for it. He or she says mental. Me? Probably. Yeah. Anyway, let's pull a card for you. Tell us something we don't know. This is going to be for Mr. or Mrs. Crystal Clear, or hold on, let me, you know, be more inclusive. Mr., Mrs., or they. Crystal clear, right? We got to include all the. Yeah. Anyway, I'll shut up. Okay, here we go. Crystal clear. 3, 2, 1. Ugh. Well, well, well. Congratulations. You've received the world. Honestly, I know you guys. These are one card readings, and so if it's your first time here, please take it with a grain of salt. You're going to find this amazing phenomenon with one card readings, and that oftentimes they will be very applicable to many things in your life at the same time, in small measure, in large measure. They don't always necessarily reference one singular event, but you're going to notice, especially when you receive cards like the world, that this is potentially one of the most potent periods of creative possibility for you this year. Why? Because when this shows up in your life, you have dramatically increased potential for manifestation. And one of the ways I want you to look at it is a little bit like the magic mirror. Remember from whatever Disney movie that was, which I guess is now a Mandela effect, right? You guys, it used to be, what was it? It used to be mirror, mirror on the wall. Was that what it was? Now it's magic mirror or something like that. I don't, whatever it is, it's changed. And anyway, to get back to the point, crystal clear, this is a mirror that spirit will grant you in this life, oftentimes for a temporary period of time, in which whatever you're the most obsessed with in your world is going to continue to show up over and over and over again. It's almost like the more you think about it, the more you talk about it, the more you look on your phone about it, the more you just obsess on it every day. They give it to you again and again and again and again. And honestly, it can be miraculous, because it could be one of those stages of your life where you're like, oh my God, I'm finally doing whatever blank. You know what I mean? X, Y, and Z is finally going on. Or it could be one of those times where you're like, oh my God, disasters keep happening over and over again. And, everything I talk about goes wrong. And as soon as I say it, it happens. This is those times where whatever we say is going to happen. Whatever we obsess on is going to happen. And so it's cool if you're smart and you can use it. And if you have tangible goals and you're willing to go, I'm going to become obsessed with this really positive thing in my life right now. And I use the word obsession very carefully, because you're going to find over and over and over again that with the world card in tarot, it's one of few moments that authorizes obsession. In fact, it says, hey, look, you have a chance right now. You can create something amazing for yourself, or you could create a literal disaster. And the whole idea is you just got to obsess upon it constantly. And so when used wisely, it brings miracles. When used haphazardly, it can be a difficult period. I guess really the best or the worst part about it is it's temporary. I'd say the world as like a stage for people will show up every now and then. It's not about when it shows up, but it's usually like, I don't know, maybe a month to 90-day window, in which probably a bit less, honestly, but in that window of time, whatever you're willing to obsess yourself with, you will make headway. It will be at the cost of ignoring other things in your life, though. I will say that. That's kind of the downside of the world when it really gets going and you start obsessing, and hopefully you're obsessing on really positive change or things you want to manifest. You will forget other stuff. It's like other things will go by the wayside. You'll be like, oh my God, I haven't done that. Or, oh shit, I didn't brush my teeth for 2 days. Or I don't know, just something like that. It's not always a big deal, but look out for it, because it'll happen every now and then. Boom. Thank you, crystal clear. I appreciate you. Who's next, ladies and gentlemen? Who could it be now? What song was that? Who did that? Who could it be now? Do you guys remember that one? I know we're getting really lame today. Damn, we just went back to oh no, I already know. It was no, I don't know. Damn it. The Australian band, right? From the 80s. Somebody knows. Can we have a Gen X person come into the chat and tell me who I can't even say it. I'm stuttering. Who could it be now? Somebody knows who that is. Say it in the bottom of the chat and I'll pull a card for you quick. Oh shit, Brian, you already got a reading. There he goes. New England Dirt Roadie. What? That's Holland Sass. What? Sorry, New England Dirt Roadie. There you are. Men at work. What? Okay, we're gonna pull a card for you, New England Dirt Roadie. Thank you. But thank you, Brian, and everyone else. That was the first one that I saw. Sorry if someone said it before that. Just I would have done Brian, but we just pulled a card for him. So, um, man at work. Hell yeah, dude. Man, does it suck? I mean, am I just gonna date myself? I literally remember when that came out. And I know it was super early 80s because I was a super little kid and I was cruising in the car with my mom in San Diego, California. In fact, I think it was one of those super, super teeny little Honda Civics. You guys remember those ultra little Honda Civics from like, I don't know, like 1985? It was like so small. It's like two people could like literally pick it up. You know what I mean? Cruising in a weird little car like that down the I-15 freeway in Southern California. And I remember that song. I absolutely remember it, dude. Totally. Anyway, this is for New England Dirt Roadie. Let's pull a card for you. What do they need to know? What's happening? Just general piece of advice or just a symbol of spiritual significance for the individual known as New England Dirt Roadie? 3, 2, 1. I hope it's not a repeat card. Boom. Oh, it's not. Damn, it's a cool one too. New England Dirt Roadie, congratulations. You received the first appearance of strength in today's show. This is, honestly, it's a beautiful omen. There's really no way you can turn this into something. Well, okay, let me get real. Yeah, I mean, you can. I'm going to start out with the weirdest statement on strength. Okay, guys, you guys are going to be like, wait, what? Get ready. Strength does not care whether you are a good person or a bad person. It doesn't care if your goals are evil or holy, and that just needs to be mentioned. But what it does say is, New England Dirt Roadie, you improved something within yourself. You've grown stronger. There's more essence. There's more life force available. And maybe you're not feeling it in this moment. So if you're not feeling, understand that it is available to you. And at times we have to summon great strength in our life. But normally when this card approaches us, and usually whatever form or fashion it does, it's telling you you're good enough. You're strong enough. You can handle this. Yes, you might have to summon every bit of strength that you have to get through, whatever it is you're going through, to manifest, to heal. And even if you're just coasting in this world and you're like, yeah, man, I might have to get strong. Maybe you will. Maybe you're going to get physically strong. It shows up in many, many different ways. The thing is, though, it doesn't care if you're bad or good, evil or holy. It's not an arbiter of morality. What it is it says you did something right. You improved yourself. You've evolved in your consciousness. Seriously, though, I mean, look at I know we're going deep into tarot symbolism, you guys, but this is kind of universal to any of the strength cards in your tarot deck. And, every reader is going to honestly end up creating their own meanings anyway. That's how you know you're really reading it eventually. But strength will say that you've evolved in some way. Why? Because you had to learn how to work with that lion. That lion had to come to a stage of maturity and understanding. I'm not here to rip this person up. And that woman had to go like, okay, look, I understand. I know how to work with this raw, powerful animal essence that is within me. And so there's a path of evolution. There's a path of strengthening. And you're probably also, and you guys will notice, for those of you guys that watch this channel a lot, I'm not super into doing starseed origins. I'll explain why in a moment, but this is a very strong indicator of what we call Lyran energy or Lyran energy. And so, having said that, thank you, New England Dirt Roadie. I probably will piss somebody off with this next statement. I would be very careful who you go to get a reading about your quote unquote starseed origins. I know I've said this before, and some people will be like, "Oh God, here he goes." But I think it needs to be mentioned because it's almost like this sort of dopamine hit that people have within our soul group, where we've been trained to believe that we need to have some sort of name or a label for a realm or a planet or a race of beings from which we've originated. And one of the things that always gets me about all those people who make a living out of doing this, like, I'm going to tell you your starseed origins, one of those things that always trips me out is they can only ever filter you through, like, what, one of seven different extraterrestrial races, the ones that we know about on Earth, right? You guys know what I'm saying. You've watched this with me, or you've heard me say this multiple times, right? How come in a universe or a galaxy of innumerable infinite life, we on Earth can only define ourselves as either I'm a Pleiadian starseed, Sirian, Lyran, what is it? Reptilian, right, or Orion. What's the other one? Arcturian, right? If there's one thing I have noticed over the past 3 years, it's like the Arcturians are the number one most trendiest soul group origin. It's like if you throw out I'm an Arcturian at the right moment, at the right time, I'm telling you, bro, you're gonna have about 1,500 people on your live stream. And the second you whip out the singing bowls, like, they're gonna lose it, dude. They're gonna lose it. And it's all because, you this artfully chosen wording, that people are identifying with right now. And I mean this sincerely. In the next 5 to 10 years, those understandings of, your so-called starseed origins that you're holding on to right now, the lady that says, well, you're 28% Arcturian and 13 percent Syrian, and looks like you got a little bit of this or that, and all of those terms and all of those pre-scripted destination, extraterrestrial labels that we put on it, that's going to change so much that you're going to look back on those times in which you're like, damn, I can't believe I paid so and so $200 to tell me I was a Pleiadian starseed, when now we understand so much more than we ever thought could have ever been true before. And you're going to look back on that stuff and go, oh my, I promise you, you will. And I know that there's a couple of people in here that are going to get offended by that. And I know that if there's one thing that you're going to know about me, is that I'm going to tell you how it is. I'm going to tell you the way that I see it. And if there's one thing I know I've ever done right in this life, it was transform some aspect of myself into making whatever it is that we do here work. And the reality is it continues to work. And I think one of the reasons why it continues to work is because we will make a point to never take ourselves so seriously, to never define ourselves through such a hard and fast label, to be like water, to flow effortlessly through the many infinite states of being and the stages of identity that we walk through in this life. In 5 or 10 years, you will not give a shit about the fact that somebody told you you were a Pleiadian starseed, because you're going to have such a completely different idea of who and what you are that will seem like child's play to you. It'll be like fucking kindergarten. And yeah, I'm being very raw and I'm being very real. And I say it with love and respect. But I'm just, every now and then you're like, oh my God, here we go again. The Arcturians have entered the chat. And I want to also follow that up with saying the kicker is, at the same time, we must use discernment, because every now and then somebody's going to show up and you're going to go, oh, you're an excellent example of a real Pleiadian energy, or an actual reptilian. Or you get the really weird ones nowadays. And here's the thing. I know you guys are seeing this in your own way. Okay. You're going to be standing in line at the grocery store and you're going to look across the aisle and you're going to look at a person and go, oh my God, that person is a literal whatever rhinoceros being. I know that's dumb and crazy, right? You're going to look at that person over there and go, whoa, they are so feline. Whoa, what race is that? What energy is that? Part of the reason for the change in the way we're going to be observing, and a lot of us already are, everyone on this live stream is already in their own stage of that, is that as the human energy body opens up on a collective level, it's sort of like that 100th monkey effect. And eventually everyone just snaps into a thing. And it's not like a revelation anymore. It's like, oh, all of a sudden I'm understanding this thing way differently. And it becomes a thing that we accept and that we just honor as being true. And so that's why I say, don't hold too hard and fast into that now. Don't invest your time and your energy into becoming one of those, like, I'm going to tell people where their star origins are from, because there's so many forms of life out there. Why would we want to limit ourselves to, just the list that we've gained off of YouTube? You know what I mean? It just doesn't work for me. Anyway, I'll stop there. Thank you. Thank you for weathering that storm. Let's do some more readings. We got a couple. We got a little bit left. We got a little bit of time left. Let's scroll through. I'm just gonna click somebody and we're gonna see what happens. Boom. Andy Z. Oh, okay, perfect. So Andy Z girl, I will not divulge your location, but I know you're not that far away from us. So you're also seeing it. Hopefully. Maybe you're not seeing it, depending on where you are. Just because I happened because we talked and met. We both know where we're both located. It's not that bad yet, right? I mean, it's kind of, it's definitely no category 3 or 4. As the warning comes in, are you ready, guys? Here we go. We have a live hurricane warning showing up on my phone here. Let's read it together. Okay. Where did it go? Oh my God. Did I just lose it? Are you serious? Did I just cancel my own notice? Hold on. We have an advisory notice. Here it comes, guys. Ready? Emergency alert from the National Weather Service. An extreme wind warning is in effect for this area. You guys are. I'm going to show my age here. I have to take out my glasses to read. There's an extreme wind warning is in effect in this area for the immediate danger of life-threatening winds till 9:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Take cover now in an interior room of a sturdy building, away from windows. Protect your head from flying debris. Do not go out in the calm of the hurricane eye. Winds will become dangerous again. It's right here. It's happening, guys. I gotta be real, though. It doesn't really look like much is going on outside here. However, I say this with real sincerity. My prayers go out to anybody out there who is in the part of Florida, everyone that's in the part of Florida, because I heard they had tornadoes earlier. And, I haven't been watching the news here while I've been hanging out on this live stream. So who knows? But so far, so good. This is going to be for Andy Z girl. Here we go. Let's pull a card for you. Thank you, Aurora Diamond Heart, Cosmic Origins, and everybody else. We do. I mean this very, very sincerely. While I am an advocate of, nothing happens by mistake, because I really believe that in my heart of hearts, I also want to be very upfront and that, we're going to ask very, very sincerely for the least amount of destruction that we can receive. And most importantly, the least amount of injuries and anything like that. And here we go. Colleen Starasnich got it. She says, have no fear. Totally. Sometimes I feel like I'm crazy or something, or like, am I just stupid? Because it's like, I have not felt, it's like, maybe it's me, maybe it's me, but there has not been one moment of fear. I don't know why. I'd be more afraid of an earthquake, but I'll be honestly, earthquakes are really fun. Living in California for years, and I was actually in the earthquake. I think it was in 88 or 89 or something. The one that was in the Bay Area in California, where the Bay Bridge kind of buckled a little bit. We were there at the time. It was actually pretty wild. It was a pretty big earthquake, man. Man, how old? I was like 11, maybe. Was I? I don't know. I was young. Anyway, sorry, Andy Z girl. You got to deal with me ranting and raving here. Here comes your card. Here we go. You turn them over. 3, 2, 1, and boom. Whoa. All right. Andy Z girl. This is an interesting thing to have. We have had very few cups today, you guys. Seriously, very, very, very. Oh, is the wind? The wind's kicking up out there. We've had very, very few cups today. So let me explain, you guys, because the Two of Cups is such an interesting card. When this shows up for people, the first thing that you need to know is every single person out there has a different idea of what this card means. And the reality is, every single person is correct. And why do I say that? Because each and every person who sees this is going to get an idea about themselves when they look at it. You know, you'll say, where am I in the spectrum of what this represents? You see two people coming to a stage of union or a place of coming together, and it's a beautiful thing to have. But some people look at it and they're like, oh yeah, that's me and so and so. Yep, I know what that is. I know what's going on there. And other people are like, oh my god, finally, is it going to happen? You know what I mean? Like, am I going to meet someone? Is something, you know what I mean? So it kind of depends on where you are in the spectrum of what this represents, because they all actually, you know, they're all very, very relevant. And then other people would look at it and go, oh, actually, yeah, no, I'm good on that right now. I'm doing good. I'm not really looking for it. Yeah, I don't really want it. So wherever you fit in the spectrum of that, know that when this energy enters your life, you have a possibility to create a much deeper level of connection, intimacy, coming together, union, if you want to go that route. And it's not always about intimacy, it's not always about sexuality, it's not always about love, it's not always about companionship. Sometimes it's just about having a very deep, meaningful connection with a person where you see eye to eye on a level, and it creates something out of it. It's like you come to this deep layer of, oh Lord, here comes the wind. This deep layer of agreement with another person on a soul level. And there's a lot of growth and change that could come with it, but it's really dependent on where you are in the process. And so honestly, I think it's a very, very strong omen for those that are seeking companionship, to improve companionship in their lives, to find intimacy, togetherness, or really just to create chemistry, union between themselves and others. And so I think it's a really cool card. So I don't know. Did we get any other cups today? It might have been the only one. It might have been the only one. Yes. All right. We're going to do a couple more, you guys. We're going to do a couple more. Let me know if you're in Florida right now. Let us know how it is. Andy Z girl, let us know before you roll out of here. How is the wind intensity in your park? Because I know you're not that far. I don't know. Maybe you evacuated somewhere, but let us know. How's the intensity in your area? If anyone else here is in the state of Florida, give us a shout. What's the storm status where you are? I gotta be authentic, you guys. It's nowhere near as bad so far as we were expecting. Now, I'm gonna go on this guy's show in a couple hours here, and who knows, maybe we won't have internet. But if you want to join us, we're going to be going live on Rumble at a show called Riding Through the Unknown at 9 p.m. Eastern over on Rumble. We're going to be live over there if you want to hang out some more. So there we go. She says, I'm home. Totally. You know, right? So far, it's okay. Hopefully, you're not in zone A or B, right? Because I heard they had to evacuate her. I saw there was like this car driving down the road telling them to evacuate in our part of Florida. So who knows? I know our area is not under evacuation. We did not get it. We didn't get it. But I mean, we're on. I mean, I guess we are technically on the higher ground in this little community area here. We're sort of back a little bit raised up. So I would imagine this area will be more prone to wind damage. Anyway, that's how it's going. What's up, San? Thanks for stopping by. Wind is picking up in the southeast Florida, but not too bad. Tornado warnings, though, right? I did notice that there was, I think, something like, or during the time that I was watching a different channel, there was, I think, 17 tornadoes that somehow popped up and vanished. I don't know how it is now because I haven't, obviously been watching it, but yeah, tornadoes are real. Let me know in the chat. Have you ever been through a tornado? If you're in the chat, actually, here, hold on, San, I'm gonna pull a card for you. But let us know in the chat if you have you been in a tornado. If you have been in a tornado, what was it like? I grew up on the West Coast, you know what I mean? So that means I'm automatically lame. But we don't get weather. And so, worst case scenario, San Diego, we got like a rainstorm that lasted for like 2 hours. Then you're like, oh my God, that was so intense. You know what I mean? So it's like my idea of weather until what, like 2021, you know what I mean, was like, oh, it's 90. Okay. You know what I mean? And so now we're on the East Coast and very, very, very different. Very, very different. But so I have very, very little official weather experience. Like if you guys threw me into like, somewhere up north, like in Canada, yeah, Miss White Swan knows this. I've said it to her. If you guys threw me up north up there, I would be screwed. I honestly, I would have no idea what to do. I'd freeze my ass off, you know what I mean? I don't I'm not equipped for the cold. However, though, you could throw me down in Death Valley, not to say I would wanna go there because 'cause I've been there, it's horrible. But, you could throw me in the desert, and I will make it. I know I'll make it. Absolutely. However, desert actually has a few risks that I think are a bit greater than the cold, but you just if you have an ancestral tie in there, it's just like you'll have a better way to navigate it. And so who knows though? I always say between me and Honora, we've been saying, if it ever did happen during the time that we lived here in Florida, if we did get one of those, dramatic storms that destroys everything, that we would probably end up moving. Not because I want to leave Florida, because I don't, but just because, it's like, well, maybe there's another state. I don't know. I'm not sure. So far, though, I can tell you I have been in nearly all 50 states, except for Alaska. I have not been to Hawaii. I think there's a couple like up in the upper corner. I don't recall going to Rhode Island, but I'm pretty sure I've been to every state except for Hawaii and Alaska. I think Rhode Island. But anyway, um, and when it comes down to it all, and I mean this very, very sincerely, if there were two places I would choose to live, it would either be in California or Florida. And I've lived in Arizona. Um, we've stayed in other states for days at a time. I stayed in New York for a little bit and do not recommend it. And that was like pre-COVID. That was pre-COVID New York, like early 2000s. And it's just, I do not recommend it. You know what I mean? Never, never again. Spend time in New Jersey, never again. Um, Anyway, I was about to tell you guys the worst state I've ever been to, but I don't want to offend anyone. If you want to know the worst state I've ever been to, say it in the chat and I'll say it. Only if you guys want to know. In the meantime, we're going to pull a card for San. They probably already left, but it'll be for you anyway. Oh, we passed our 2-hour mark as well. Well, well, well. Here we go. San, this is for you. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Well, the first appearance of the Fool. Now, San, you might look at this and everyone else and go, "What? Oh, dude, you're seriously? Really? The Fool? Come on. I mean, that's bad, right? The Fool, he's a fool. He's dumb, right?" No, actually, this is a really, really important moment for people who are trying to understand tarot and they see the symbology come in and they're all, "Wait, what? Hold on. That's not good, right?" Actually, dude, let me tell you, the Fool, and this is not a joke, this is a 100% real thing. Some of you know this already, so you're like, "Yeah, yeah." The Fool's the most powerful being in the entire world of tarot. Number 1. Absolutely. There's nothing he cannot do. There is nothing they cannot have. There is nowhere they cannot go. There's literally nothing, and I'm not trying to exaggerate. That is the archetype. That is the truth. That's the literal identity of the Fool. The problem is that they don't know it, and there's things that are available to them and paths and directions and experiences, and they're just going to be going along their journey like, yeah, I'm just doing my world and gliding along, and that might go by, or they might, turn a corner and go one direction, and right over there was this other thing. And so when you have the Fool in your life, Spirit's giving you an opportunity to dramatically raise your awareness so that you can be available, and so that you can have the visibility to perceive the things that they're bringing into your path, things that could change everything for you. And I mean sincerely, because the Fool, a lot of people will get the Fool at times in their life where they're like, I don't really know what I'm supposed to be doing right now. I might just kind of be, existing, you know what I mean? Not really living, not really dying. I'm just doing my thing, you know what I mean? It's not even a crisis card. It's just a thing that comes in to let us know, oh man, there's so much more you could be doing right now. So what do you do when you have the Fool? All right. If you're willing to accept that, like, okay, I could see that. It's possible, And so then once you do that, you must raise your awareness. Number one. So you got to start looking around. You got to start reading in between the lines. You got to notice the micro expressions. Don't listen to the words that are being said. Listen in between the words. Listen to what is unsaid. Look at the strange intricacy of the many expressions and little moments and little crossroads that you go through in your own journey, and raise your awareness. Look outside of that. Look at the greater picture. Zoom out in a different level. And if that's not hard enough for you, because for some people it is, other people it's automatic when they go, oh, wait, I can do that? Oh, okay, let's see what happens. At the same time that you're doing that, you will also be deciding what it is that you really want. And I mean that sincerely, because that is kind of one of the problems with the Fool. If there is an area where the Fool tends to make mistakes, is that they don't really know what they want at times, and they won't really listen to warnings. And you can see what he's doing. Look at him. He's not going to walk off a cliff necessarily, but if you took a couple steps in the wrong direction, you could have a big upset, you know what I mean? And so the Fool needs awareness, but also you got to listen to that still small voice. Learn to listen to the voices of your guides. Learn to read the warnings and heed the advice that the world is showing you. Let me tell you, when you really have the Fool, that advice, those warnings, doesn't usually come from people. I'm not saying it's always going to be a little white dog, although this is going to sound crazy. There was a time in our life when it was a little white dog, me and Honora, and it kept showing up over and over again. That's another story. But what it will be is often from other things. It's not from the voice. People won't tell you. It's like you'll notice it, you'll hear it, you'll feel it. And so it's a really cool opportunity if you are willing to create certainty, decide upon a destination. And so I hope that helps. I hope it finds you well. Thank you for rolling through. Thank you, Brian. If you are hanging out here on this live stream with us, you can help us inch ever so closely to the 7K mark. And you can give my paltry human ego a little bit of a dopamine boost, which would probably help, because I haven't been smoking weed at all for a while. So I'm like, we're definitely in need of some dopamine. So help us get to 7,000 subscribers. And then it'll be one of those things where I'm like, now I have a whole new set of goals. And you're like, what? You know how that is, like with kids, are like, now that I got what I want, I don't even care about it anymore. I'm going to go over there. That could happen. I will admit that has happened to me at many times. I say that very sincerely. Thanks, San. I feel that. Figuring out my next direction. I think my new work grants help me many opportunities, and I'm working with the Spirit team more through this. Thank you. I appreciate that feedback. Thank you for rolling through here, being a part of our hangout here today. I think we're gonna do 2 more readings, you guys, just because we're past the 2-hour mark, and I'm gonna go eat something before we show up on Rumble. You can join us 9 p.m. over on Rumble, Riding Through the Unknown. Yeah, we'll see what happens. We are riding through the unknown, actually, here in the wilds of Florida. I have not received an evacuation order yet, so we're just gonna sit it out. Let's do a couple more readings. I'm gonna grab somebody at random. Oh, I was gonna tell you guys my least favorite state. We will do that. Let me choose a person for. Oh, here you mentioned the state. Boom, Crystal Star. How's it going? If you're still here, we're gonna pull a card for you. Okay, guys, I'm gonna tell you my least favorite state. I say this with respect because some people will be like, "Oh my God, that's where I live. What? How? Oh my God, it's beautiful here." So understand that it's subjective. You know what I mean? Okay, I'll just be real. Louisiana. Louisiana, absolutely worst place I've been to in the United States. That was just my experience, though. That was just my experience. We had horrible stuff happen to us there. We got triple charged by a hotel. Just very just not fun people. You know what I mean? You get mistreated. You get just disrespected, thrown on the side, deal with negativity. And it's like when we went last time we went to Louisiana, it was like the second we crossed into that place, it was just like one after another. You turn this way, boom, you turn that way, boom, you know what I mean? Over and over again. And you know what they say, wherever you go, there you are. And so, sure, we all carry a little bit of that energy with us. But I just got to tell you, man, for me, it was my least favorite place that I've ever been to in the United States. Mm, second to that, um, New York. Second, I would say New York was almost number one. But honestly, there's also tremendous beauty there. And there was a lot of cool stuff that happened to us there during the brief window of time that I stayed there. But yeah, man, Louisiana just did not come together for me. Maybe it will in the future. So I'm kind of holding out on that. Louisiana. I'll tell you though, there was one state where up until the period until I moved to Florida, it was actually the one place that I wanted to go. And this was back when I was in a band. And we used to go on tour all the time, and that was actually how I visited nearly every state, because we drove through all of them playing shows. Honestly, for years, I would say from 2001 till I think 2007. I think was the last tour that I went on. So for a good 7 year run, we went all over the country. But one place in particular really struck me. It was probably my favorite city that I had been to until I came to Florida. Now, Florida really took that for me in the sense that it's been pretty easy for us to live here. The people have been good to us. It's been manageable. I know a lot of people have ideas about Ron DeSantis, but I cannot lie. From my point of view and my experience, he's done a hell of a job taking care of the state. And so, anyway, having said that, the other place that I really fell in love with during those years was, drum roll, you're going to be like, what? Boise, Idaho. Boise, Idaho. I don't know how. I don't know why. I remember driving into Idaho, and you kind of come down through this like mountain thing into something that was kind of like a valley, and like driving through there. And I was like, oh my God, instantly. As soon as I got there, I was like, I can live here. I would live here. I could totally make this work. Who knows though, because it gets pretty cold out there. But that said, you might find me in Idaho one of these days. In the meantime, let's pull a card for Crystal Star. Thank you for being here, Crystal Star, even if you already left. Here we go. Crystal Star. 3, 2, 1, and boom. Whoa, oops, sorry, upside down. Whoa, Crystal Star. Man, an unexpected symbol of wow, of incredible healing. And I mean that sincerely, because I know sometimes you guys, I flip in and out of like this weird sarcasm vibe, and you're like, wait, is he serious or is he joking? For the real official record, both at the same time, in equal measure, and also a secret third thing. But anyway, getting back to the real, Crystal Star, you have temperance. This is the symbol of the healer. This is the card of the healer. This is the card of balance. This is the sign of healing. And it's a very particular type of healing. It is self-healing. So you can ask yourself right now, what am I healing from? What am I recovering from? It's not to say that, I'm not going to define you as in a state of distress or illness, but every now and then maybe we've been having a little bit of a hard time getting ourselves, back in prime operating condition. And you might be wondering, what do I need to do? How do I improve? How do I get stronger? How do I clear up the mind's eye or the spirit within me? And temperance is about coming to elemental balance. It's about kind of working out and sort of, altering and changing and healing, the balance of the elements: fire, earth, air, water, and some say ether if you want to go there. And so you're going to be balancing those things in your life, and it's a thing that you will do with yourself. I would also say, Crystal Star, and I'm just throwing this out there very, very lightly because I know this is merely a one card reading, and I want you to take what I say with a grain of salt. But just so you know, Crystal Star, this is the symbol of the healer. This is the symbol of one that will be called to be the bridge between the spirit world and the physical world. And that sign only shows up two places in the world of tarot. There are only two times in which you are notified, hey, 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 look, you need to know, okay? You're a bridge between the spirit world and the physical world. Even if you're not using it, even if for you, you're like, what? That's crazy. I would never. Just know it is within you. And so I hope that finds you well. And thank you for hanging out. I appreciate you being here with us. If you can, hit the like button on the way out the door. And yeah, we're going to hang out for a couple more minutes here. Please let me know if you guys have any more questions. If there's anything you want to ask me about, we're going to do it. Ask me anything. Yeah, sure. Ask me anything. I'm not telling you I will tell you the right answer, but feel free if you have any other questions. Aurora Diamond Heart says, when I think of Louisiana, I think of the show True Blood. Any fans? You know what's crazy? I do remember watching a couple episodes of True Blood back in the day. And I think I only watched it like maybe twice. And I was like, whoa, it's literally just vampires having sex and being shitty to each other. Whoa, okay. I mean, I guess that's cool, right? Yeah. And so, a lot of people were really into it. I'll be real. I was never really into, like, how like the vampire scene was like ultra cool like years ago, you know what I mean? It's like um I was never like into the vampire scene. Although it sucks because I always had really jacked teeth and people used to make fun of me. So I was like, like, your teeth are so pointy, and I'm like, yeah, it's because I'm a vampire. But yeah, I was never into, the vampire scene. However, when it comes to Dracula movies, I think Dracula with Gary Oldman, I think was the standard for me when it comes to Dracula movies. It was the Gary Oldman version of it. Um, Aurora says they bring in a Minotaur. Yeah, okay. See, that's where I just didn't get past like the vampire sex, which is fine. I mean, that's totally cool. You know what I mean? Go for it. But I wish I knew they had Minotaur, fairies, and werewolves. I don't know. Like, I think like if I had to choose between two of those mythical, beings. Actually, here, this is a question I have for the chat before we go. And I'm serious. You have a chance. You have to become a vampire or a werewolf. No, we're not doing Twilight. I'm just seriously, genuinely. Which one would you have to choose? If they're like, you're going to become one of those mythical dark creatures, and you can be this one or this one. You're going to be the vampire or you're going to be the werewolf. Which one are you going to be? Tell us. Let us know. We shall discuss it ad nauseum. In the meantime, we're going to pull up somebody for another reading. I don't know who it's going to be. We're going to find out together. The world just keeps on turning and turning and turning. Boom. Danny B, what's up? All right, Danny B. Hopefully you're still here. And even if you're not, we're going to pull a card for you. Danny B says, haha, I agree. I lived there for a year. Oh, you must be talking about Louisiana, right? I know. I'm sorry. It was hard. New Orleans. Well, see, the thing is, even during the times when I went to New Orleans, I was, like, painfully, bitterly sober. So, it was like the party scene didn't do anything for me. But here's the thing, like, I'm even if I'm not sober now, I'm still not, like, an alcohol person, so it's just, like, for some reason, it just never clicked with me. You know what I mean? And so I think there's a certain value of like the New Orleans bourbon street scene that other people will love, but I'll be like, "Oh my God," you know, maybe if it was about something else, maybe I would have a different idea. But there's also a lot of really cool places. I know that back in the early 2000s when we would go on tour a lot, we played at a place in Baton Rouge. I would say I think we played there twice. I mean, actually, no, yeah, no, we did. Um, And honestly, that place was amazing. It was spooky. It was so weird and bizarre. It felt like I was in a movie. And anyway, before I pull this card, I'll just tell one other crazy. No, it's not a crazy story. It's not even that cool. When I went to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, was one of the first times I ever encountered the only time actually I ever encountered what I would call a ghost train. And a ghost train is when you're next to the train tracks and a train comes and you feel it and hear it and it's there, and then you go to look at it and there is no train. And so I want you guys to imagine this. Open your third eye with me. Just imagine, slide into that childhood mind zone where you're just in free imagination. And you can imagine a silver Ford club wagon, all beat up, a bunch of guys driving around in it, 20 somethings, 2005 era. And we pull up to this kind of, it's funny because in this show, I often say we're in an abandoned business park, right? But in February of 2005, we pulled up to an abandoned business park in the heart of some bizarre place in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And it was like haunted. I mean, so blown out that I was like, what? What are we doing here? And it was actually the place that we were going to play the show, which ended up getting moved the next day to a different venue, which was a good thing. But when we got there, it was like this practice space for bands that had been built out of this old office building that it was just so blown out. It was like this just crack hole, right? And I remember going into that place, and we went into the so-called club that we were going to play, and they were like, "You guys could stay here. You could just crash here, man." Like that kind of scene. And what it was this office building that it's kind of funny now because we have that thing called the back rooms, and a lot of you guys have seen the back rooms. And it was somewhat similar to the back rooms in kind of vibe and sort of yellowish and dingy and dirty, and it smelled of like 25 years of daily cigarettes, like over and over and over again, and just all kinds of just crazy, crazy, wild, just, debauchery and negativity. And it had all been built up in this place where, bands would come and have shows, and people were living there, like squatters and whatnot. And we kind of entered this weird rundown, like a office that was in there, and there was these couches that were lined all along the walls, like just up against the walls, and they were like, "You guys can sleep on the couch," and it was this, you guys can imagine this kid that kind of little bit chubby, kind of a bigger guy. I would put him about, maybe 21, 22, kind of had that gutter punk look, you know what I mean? Probably lived on the streets for a while. Looked like he did meth, but not enough to really lose weight, you know what I mean? It was more of an emotional coping device. It wasn't really his thing, but you could just see this kid was in a state of great distress, and he was living in this venue in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And as we walked in the place, I remember turning left, and this kid was sitting in the middle of the floor, and there was a pentagram up on the wall behind him. That's why I remembered it. I was like, "Whoa, is that one of those?" At the time, I didn't even know it was called a pentagram. I was like, "Whoa, that's like the satanic symbol." What? I was like, "Damn, what are we doing here?" Like, "Oh my God," type of a thing. And this kid was sitting there in the middle of the floor, and he had this really, really large bong. It was like ridiculously huge bong, and it was bright purple, and he was just taking bong hits one after the other, like kind of in a very sad, kind of animalistic, automatic way. Just kept hitting it over and over and over again. And we were like, "Hey, what's up, bro?" And he was like, "My mom died on this day years ago. If I smoke enough of this, she'll start talking to me," or something along those lines. And I was like, "Whoa." that moment where you just like, oh, damn, buddy. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? When you feel like the total loss, of like everything. And it's like, whoa, man. And I felt that guy. And it was a crazy thing. And so obviously at that moment, I was like, damn, I don't know, man. I don't know if I can, I was like, I kind of want to get out of here. And so I did one of those things where I'm like, I'm gonna go look for the bathroom. Right. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go to the bathroom. And so I walk out of that room. I'm walking down a large, white, dingy hallway going from the front of the business park to the back of it. And I was walking with a guy, a person that was with me during this experience. His name was Tom. Haven't seen him in years. He probably doesn't even remember this. And we were walking down this hallway and we felt the rumbling of the train, and I was like, "Oh shit, a train. Wow." Like we were like, "Damn, the train's coming. Whoa, crazy." And the whole building was like, you know how when you feel the train coming and you're right next to the train tracks, you could hear the vibrations of it, you could hear the train. And it was like I wasn't even realizing that I was walking outside to the train tracks. I opened the door thinking that I was walking into the bathroom, and as we opened the door, it swung outward into the darkness, and we saw the train tracks, and everything went silent instantly. And there was literally no train whatsoever. It never existed. We felt it, we heard it. It rattled the entire foundation of the building. Kind of like when you live next to the airport and a plane flies over, and you like, it's big vibration, and then it was gone. It was the ghost train. Anyway, that's how it was. 2005, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. This is a card for Danny B. Thanks for hanging out with us, Danny B. I appreciate you. For Danny B. 3, 2, 1, and boom. Whoa, they made me give you a different card. That's strange. I felt my fingers move to one and then another one. Danny B, you got a really interesting card. This is, I think, you guys, the only Wands card that we have received today. I'm going to look at my time here. Yeah, okay. And so this is the only Wands card that we have received today, and it's the Three of Wands. And it actually is one of the few cards in the world of multidimensional tarot that does kind of come with a little bit of a very particular message. And this is kind of one of the only ones. It says you really need to be paying attention to the next few months of your journey. It's what we call a short-term change in indicator. There we go. I got that word out. Short-term change indicator. It notifies you that within a short period of time, you're going to have options. You're going to have some form of a direction. Spirit is bringing you something into your world. And here's the thing. You can see the image. You can see the symbolism of it. Yes, that's you, Danny B. And you're standing up on the shore looking down at the harbor, and they're telling you, look, there's 3 ships coming. And it's not literally 3 ships. It's a symbol that Spirit is bringing you options, directions, and possibilities in your life. However, the weird part is 3 of Swords doesn't tell you to what they apply. It doesn't tell you where they're involved. You actually have to go investigate in a new way. And it's one of those things where if you're not looking out for it, you might not notice it, because those ships are never going to come knock on your door. And it has some similarities with a couple other cards in tarot, but the difference with the Three of Wands is that it is telling you straight up something is coming. And so keep your eyes open, keep your eyes on the horizon. Not all of those ships carry gifts. Some of them carry strange things that you don't want in your life, but surely one of them will be an option that you're looking for. And so right now is the time to keep your eyes on the horizon and just stay aware. Stay aware of what's going on around you. And anyway, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. I hope that finds you well. We do have an update from San. The skies are clear here in southeast Florida with an orange and blue hue, oddly uplifting when the wind's still gusting. I feel you on that one. That sounds pretty cool. Over here, we are in pretty much darkness, I would say. I also got to be honest, you guys, the wind factor is shockingly low. Riverview, Florida, Shockingly weak. And I guess that's a good thing because that probably means everybody's not getting caved in around here. So hopefully it'll remain that way and we'll have power and everything for the next few days. And anyway, let us know where you are if you're out there in Florida still. If anyone has any questions before we roll out of here, please throw it in the chat quickly. As you know, we're going to be over on Rumble in a couple hours. Who knows what'll happen over there? Aurora says I sound disappointed. You know, I'll be real. Some of you will get mildly offended. I was hoping for maybe just a little bit more wind. And I know someone's going to be like, "What? That's horrible. Why would you think that?" Um I'm not saying I want destruction. I just feel that every now and then we as humans, we need a little bit of a shakeup. I'm not saying we need destruction, but I think it's very beneficial for those of us in this soul group to every now and then have one of those moments that reminds you why you're alive, that makes you grateful for being here, that makes you go, wow, it could have been so much worse, or it could have been like this. And what I've noticed is that strange form of organic gratitude for everything being exactly the way it's meant to be doesn't usually come unless we get scared or shook in some way. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying I'm not saying people have to suffer. That's crazy. I'm not saying that. It's just that you ever had that moment where you're like, oh my God, that almost happened. Whew, thank God. You know what I mean? There's that moment that makes us grateful to be alive. And so I don't know, honestly, I'm genuinely grateful that we are not having massive destruction right now. And I understand there's a whole other big wave of storm and stuff that'll come later on in the evening, and that might be a very different story. But for now, maybe we're seeing the effects of a little bit of those meditations. I was actually hanging out for a really cool one last night over on the Typical Skeptic podcast with Rob and Sean Bond, who is an excellent practitioner. I've worked with him in the past, and yeah, it's a cool show if you guys want to go back and check it out. I've really enjoyed the wild amount of info that Sean has over the years. And anyway, who knows? Maybe all those storm meditations helped a little bit, but let us know if you guys have any questions before we roll out of here. Like I said, I invite you to hang out with us over on Rumble in a couple hours, and we are going to be back here. I think it's about 2 weeks until we're going to do our monthly reading group over on Patreon. So I do invite you guys to join us over there. You can head over to Patreon at patreon.com/Blue Flame Collective. And thank you, Nikki Hope. I saw you in the chat. You reminded me of the question I had for everyone. You get to be a vampire or a werewolf. You don't have to be like the ones in that movie. Which one are you going to be? You're going to be, oh, Nikki Hope's going to be a werewolf. Okay. So we have one werewolf. I'm not sure which one I would choose. I'm going to scroll up in the chat because I know that question was ancient now. That was from a while ago. If you already answered, answer again before we go. Would you be a vampire or a werewolf? Queen Victor says werewolf. What? I could see that. Damn, the Scottish werewolf. That's really savage and cool. Seriously, Victoria. Seriously, that's rad. Oh, welcome healing. How's it going? She says werewolf as well. Wow. Okay, we got some primal urges in here. John Kin says Chihuahua. What? You want to be a weird Chihuahua? Maybe. So you're going to transform into a Chihuahua every full moon. That could be cool. Honestly, you could make that work. I can see some opportunity in there. Yeah, okay, interesting. Hopeful Art says hybrid of both. That's kind of what I was hoping, Hopeful Art, which is kind of a cop out where it's like I want to be both, or I'm going to take the red pill and the blue pill at the same time. Does that cancel something out? You know what I mean? Are we allowed to be a werewolf vampire hybrid? I don't know. Somebody's cringing out there right now as I talk about that. I can feel it. They're like, "Oh God, I can't believe I've been sitting watching this guy for almost 3 hours." Gypsy Stargazer says vampire. Oh, interesting. San says werewolf. Okay. Red Diamond Heart says vampire. Honestly, if it was one of those hard and fast ones, you can only choose one. I might choose the vampire as well. Sorry, I might. Danny B's a werewolf. Amber Ray's a Oh my God, we got a lot of werewolves in here. Oh, Colleen broke the mold. Way to go, Colleen. We got a Sasquatch in the house. Feng Shui Susan's a Oh my God, you guys are all werewolves. Look at this. Elizabeth's gonna be a vampire. That's a good sign. I'm not sure how to spell it either, but we get you. Sparkly skin vampires. What's crazy is I do remember that detail in that movie, the Twilight movie, and I still don't understand what about why did they choose to include that as part of their character forming process for those characters. And it's weird because I was so against that series of movies, but of course I was in you're in a relationship and you're like, okay, I guess I'm just gonna watch this anyway. And I did, and honestly, it wasn't that bad, but Alexander says werewolf, okay. It's a wise choice. It's a wise choice. Pootie Tang says, "Interview with a Vampire, soft disclosure." It kind of is, you're right. It kind of is. Leyland says, "What gauge strings do I prefer?" During the stage in which I was playing guitar every single day, I used to be mainly 10s. But after a while, I started doing kind of a custom one where I would choose a really fat G string. Like I would do like the really heavy bottom where I would do E, A, D, and G would be like ridiculously thick gauge strings. So it's like really, really beefy. And then like the last two were probably just 10. So that would be 10 and 18. So 10 on the high E, 18 on the B, I think, and then everything else would just be super fat wound gauge strings, so it's just like really heavy, you know what I mean? Like, so I would say probably just actually I cannot remember the official gauge, but there was like a Ernie Ball string set that I would kind of piece like together back in the days of like really heavy bottom and like high top. But for me it was more about the mid range. Sorry, everyone's getting like, what the hell is he talking about? I will get lost in guitar dynamics. It's still in me. Watch out. Oh shit, watch out. Um I'm going to scroll down to the bottom before we get out of here. Let me know, which one did you choose? Andromedan's going to be a god self. Okay, okay, okay. Andromedan, I saw you in the chat on that hit video. Let me tell you, bro, I saw you. hmm They act like they're your friend when they come on your live stream. But then if someone wants to do a hit video on you, they'll hang out in the chat and play along the whole time. hmm Anyway, it's all good, my friend. Queen Victor. Okay, we got vampire. Okay, so you would probably do either. You would probably do either. I think that's wise. Gypsy Stargazer is like, I used to say if I had a band, it'd be called Bipolar Vampire. That would be a good. I mean, I guess it could work. It could work. I used to be obsessed with creating band names that I was never going to be in. It just kept going, even after that stage of my life left. It just kept going. Anyway, Leyland says your sunglasses are giving me Julian Casablancas. Oh, totally. I lost track of him after the Void. Wasn't he doing the Void with some people after the Strokes? But I want to be real. I did get sucked into the Strokes in the early 2000s, and genuinely because they were at a stage in which they had such brilliant simplistic songwriting, yet I think they just got kind of like hyped up a little bit too much, and they got turned into like weird poster boys in a way that I think kind of ruined some of their music. But at the same time, I think the Strokes were legendary. They were such a great band. I did get to see them play, and it was just absolutely legendary. Absolutely, absolutely. Lilu Dallas says, what's my favorite guitarist? I don't know if I have one, but if there was one, honestly, that I could choose, like if I could hang out with a person and say, "Hey, bro, show me how you did those songs. Show me how you did that," it would be Kevin Shields of My Bloody Valentine. Absolutely. Kevin Shields, My Bloody Valentine. I think one of the most brilliant guitarists of all time. Absolutely one of the most underrated and brilliant songwriters, and as we've heard, also very hard and temperamental, difficult to work with, but honestly, in my opinion, I think he had probably one of the most brilliant and influential, guitar tones and just techniques that I ever followed. So I would say him. And then in terms of other stuff, I would probably go with Lee Ronaldo of Sonic Youth. Probably Lee Ronaldo of Sonic Youth. He had a big effect on me. Although it's weird, and I know I'm talking about stuff most people in here probably be like, "What?" But, although I did get his guitar stuff mixed up with Thurston Moore a lot. So I would say both. Both of the guitar players from Sonic Youth had tremendous, shocking impact on me during the stage of my life when I was doing music. And then I would say another, probably from an early stage, like childhood influence, the band that got me started playing the guitar it was actually two bands. It was two bands that I fell in love with as a kid. One of them is cringe now. Honestly, they're totally in the blood cult. U2. I was a kid. I remember when U2 War came out. I remember the album Boy. I remember, oh man, early stage U2 was like fucking legendary, dude. Early stage U2, like, before, like, Bono joined the Luciferian blood cult. Oh man, they were just, man, incredible. So I would say the Edge had incredible impact on me in terms of, just like that guitar style. But the band that made me want to buy a guitar in the first place, like the first band that I ever listened to them and I'm like, I'm gonna learn how to play that. It was Robert Smith from The Cure. Which some people are gonna be like, "What?" But it was literally Robert Smith from The Cure, dude. I literally went into the Sears catalog. Yes, I'm old enough to remember the Sears catalog. Okay. I went into the Sears catalog in like 1986 when I think it was Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me by The Cure came out. And I found this black like guitar that was like the most closest thing I could imagine to I had seen the pictures of The Cure playing. And I begged my and they, oddly enough, they actually got it for me, which was crazy. Thank my uncle Michael, who's dead now. He started me off on that path. But dude, it was literally The Cure. And I was so obsessed with The Cure, you guys. At age 12, I had my mom take me to the hairstylist. You know what I mean? Back in the mall in those days, remember the mall? It was like blowing up. It was the place to be. I had my mom take me to the mall and I brought a page from a magazine of The Cure. And you know how you tear it out back in the 80s, the child of the 80s, you just take it out of the magazine. I brought it in there and I was like, can you, can you do this haircut? And I swear to God, you guys, the people in in that salon, every single person in the salon turned around and was like they just started laughing. I mean, they did not even try to hide it. They were like, "Real? Oh, really? Ah." It's like, okay, here we go. Here he comes, and they did, and they did. And I rocked that shit for like 2, 3 years, maybe. I mean, and I'm gonna be real, it really just turned into, like, this really gross, like, greased out afro thing that I had going on, but at the time, I was like, "Yeah, dude, I'm like The Cure, I'm totally goth." I was so all in, you guys, man. One day, some pictures are gonna surface. Somebody will do a hit video on me, like, "Look at him. In the 1980s, a total loser goth. He thought he was Robert Smith from The Cure. He spent 18 hours a day in his room trying to play Cure songs. Look at him now." You know what I mean? And now I'm like literally losing hair. Isn't that great how that goes? Yes, it's happening. Luckily, it's going slow, but let me tell you, in the year of 2024, it's been a factor. You know what I mean? That's how it is for all of us in this life. It's the path of aging. We've been able to hold on to most of it. The good news is I've already defied most of my family line from the perspective that a lot of other men in my family had about like a tenth of the hair that I've had at age 47. So I've already defied a number of those generational, guidelines. And then also at the same time, there's a few, traditions we broke. I would also say, and I say this lovingly, I'm also the only person in my family who is not morbidly, deadly obese. That's the other part. Sadly enough, it's a defining factor for those of us in my bloodline. And luckily, I was able to defeat both of those. So I must have been doing something right. But we couldn't really stop the hair loss, right? It's still going. So one of these days, you guys will see me. I will literally, like, after it gets to a certain point, I will probably become one of those like old dude skinhead people, where they're finally like, fuck it, I'm just going to shave my head. Although that would be horrible because I have a really weirdly shaped head. So it would be kind of like, huh, huh, he, he really went there, didn't he? You know what I mean? I'll be like, yeah, man, I went all the way. So anyway, I mean that sincerely. I probably will. Dana says pics or it didn't happen. I wish there were, dude. I wish there was. I truly, truly would. There are somewhere. My family is highly dysfunctional. Pictures were not kept. Okay. You know what I mean? We weren't that kind of family. But yeah, actually, no, we were. I think my sister has most of the pictures. Yeah, Crystal Clear says, I dressed my little sister like Robert Smith and did her hair and makeup. I did not go to the extent of makeup. That is one thing I did not do, but a lot of friends I had at that time certainly did. And then around 1994 came around, and all of a sudden it was all about Nirvana, which was another one. I literally remember this. I guess this is a Gen X podcast today, you guys. Sorry. I literally remember 1994. I think it was 94, the day that Nirvana's Nevermind came out. Because actually, it came out that week, and they showed the video on the Tuesday. Literally, I didn't even know what day it was. It was on a Tuesday. And I was getting ready to go to school in the morning. It was super early. It was back in the days of MTV. For those of you guys that are from that era, remember when that was actually a place you would discover music? And I remember the very first day they're like, "This is a brand new video from Nirvana," and I was like, What the hell?" And you guys, this is totally authentic. I shit you not. That was at that stage of my life when I saw that Nirvana "Smells Like Teen Spirit" video at like literally 6 a.m. Tuesday, some day in 1994. The reason why I still remember that day is because at that stage of my life, that was the coolest thing I had ever seen, ever. It was like, and I knew it. It was like that moment. I was like, what? It was like nothing could have topped that for me. And isn't that cool? Like the mind of like the 14-year-old, or no, I think I was actually 13. I don't know what age I was, very young. But you know what I mean? At that stage of my life, that was like the be all end all of coolness in this world. And that was honestly right around the stage when I was like, okay, I'm done with this goth shit. Now I'm gonna do now I'm gonna do the Nirvana stage. And that led to a whole other series of strange personas. But yeah, man, that's how it started. So I want to think, who was it that opened that door? Mike. Oh, there she is. It was Lilu Dallas. You opened a can of worms. I'm sorry to say. You opened it. Yeah, Peter Murphy. You know what's crazy? We even, the band that I played with for a while, we had opened for Peter Murphy at one stage, at one point in San Diego somewhere. And what's crazy is at the time I was like, who? What? Yeah, I remember we I think we played before them and some other band at one point, and I was just like, whatever. I think that was at a stage where they weren't really that cool anymore. People didn't know about them. They had a lull. But yeah, that was a trip. I didn't really yeah, that was my extent with Bauhaus, the Bela Lugosi song. But anyway, Dana's wearing a Nirvana shirt right now. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Although it sucks because Nirvana was one that I did not get to see. I unfortunately missed out on that one. I did not get to see Nirvana. But I would say most of those early stage 90s pivotal grunge bands, absolutely. I was like devoted to it. Absolutely devoted to it. Yeah, it was wild. We went to all the early stage, what was it, the Lollapalooza festival at that stage of the world. Man, that was like the height of coolness in the music world, man. Yeah, I went to all those. Anyway, thanks, Leyland. You guys brought us down a little trip down memory lane in the height of a very uneventful hurricane, might I add. And, maybe that's a good thing, right? Maybe that's a good thing. And I'll probably slide off this thing here in a couple minutes as we get to 3 hours and we'll go check it out. And who knows, maybe I'll end up feeling sad because there's a big destruction happening everywhere else. But my prayer is that everyone's cool. Let us know if you're in Florida. I know Andy Ziegler was hanging out for a little bit in San. But if you're in Florida, let us know. How's the storm for you? Yep, Joe Priner, Lollapalooza 97. I will say though, 97 though, that was the stage. Was that the one when Jane's did when was it Porno for Pyros came in? That might have been. Was that the I think they had headline one and Sonic Youth came back. I don't know if that was 97, but that was actually sort of the beginning of the end for me. At that stage of my journey in the mid 90s, I was already knee deep in like, oh my God, it's a story for another time. But I was already knee deep in the clutches of extreme addiction. And so we were going in a different direction. But yeah, man, that was an era. Totally. Generation X, the last generation to get to know what it's like to live without the internet. It will never happen again. We are the last ones that had to go to the library. You know what I mean? You guys know, somebody out there knows, the last generation that was forced to go to the library to figure out stuff. You know what I mean? Or like we would use like what was it like in encyclopedias, right? You'd use encyclopedias to like, you know, write your book or like your science report or something in school, right? There's no internet. I mean, honestly, man, that like back in those days, you had to have your shit together, right? It was like, man, you either got it or you didn't, right? It was really apparent, which is wild because nowadays they're like, what, everybody wins, automatically, you're all equal, and so anyway, not that that's a bad thing, but it's very, very real. White Swan says Dewey Decimal System. I remember everybody talked about that in the old days, and I was like, I'll be real, I was probably too stoned to ever know what it was. I was like, what? I don't even know what that is, I still don't know what it is. um but yeah. Oh yeah, Lilu Dallas, 91 is so I was there too. Yep, absolutely. Both of them. Absolutely. Those I think those were the first ones, right? Those were the first two. But not Alice in Chains and oh man, and that band Primus, I remember, which was a weird one, but it worked. That was actually also Palooza was where I discovered the band Ministry as well, which honestly I still enjoy Ministry to this very day. That was another interesting one. Yep. Thanks for sharing that. Thanks for sharing that. Yep. Oregon Trail. Yep. I remember that. The only problem was Aurora Diamond Heart, the Texas Instruments like computer that we had at that stage of the journey, because that was literally what we had, the Texas Instruments computer. It was so shitty. It was like I couldn't even run Oregon Trail. I remember that. It just wouldn't work, man. And yep. All is one knows. Yep, Cliff Notes, right? Man, the inventor of Cliff Notes must be out of business now, right? Or no, now it's just like something for dummies, right? Cliff Notes became such and such for dummies, I think, or at least that's my understanding. But yeah, Cliff Notes was a weird one. If you get man, you go to somebody after like born after what, like the year, like 2000, ask them what Cliff Notes are, they will have no idea. Does not exist anymore. Absolutely. Thanks, Sonia. Good to see you. Thanks for hanging out. All right, you guys, we are at the fabled 3 hour mark. And so I do want to say thank you to everyone for hanging out with me here today. I'm honored that you guys chose to spend a little bit of time during this strange uh, hurricane, whether it be man made, whether it be, an act of God, or whether it just be, one of those things that was going to happen. I want to thank everybody for hanging out. Help us get to 7K subscribers. Hit the like button on the way out the door. And we will be back in the coming days and weeks. If you want, you can come hang out with us over on Rumble at 9 p.m. Eastern at Riding Through the Unknown. I have no idea what to expect, but it sounds cool. They have a cool name. And we'll see you guys in the future, wherever you are in the world. I pray you're dry, You're not getting swept away by storm surge, and you're not believing the ridiculous hype that the media is giving you. Or anyway, you can believe it if you want, but yeah, we're doing good out here in Florida, live from the sweat box and the eye of the hurricane in Riverview. Uh, we will roll out. See you guys on another timeline. In the meantime, I love you guys. Thanks for being a part of this channel. Thanks for hanging out with us. And you never know what's going to happen on the other side of such things. So take good care of yourselves and stay out of trouble.